You're listening to The Boxing Voice.
It's showtime! Welcome back, boxing fans. Blood is good.
Iron Face, a mask of blood.
Blood is emotion.
Too much blood coming out of the eye.
Blood is a story, a drama.
Deep gash, blood pouring right into his eye.
Blood in terms of passion.
Blood streaming now from the cut in the eye, the nose, his mouth, his cheeks swollen, and he's still drawing.
What we want is a bloody good fight tonight. We have Heather, the Heat Hardy. Is this you?
This is me. I think I need to talk to you every night because you make me smile and blush over here.
Never been a lame-o, never been a lame-o. Yeah, I love the strip. I'm okay.
You serious? You serious?
And that's the good thing about UK. That's why I can't hate on them guys, man. They love fucking boxing.
No fighters in England. They all bums.
Did you hear what this idiot just said?
Yo, son, you're gonna get your ass beat by Marina, son.
Are you fucking kidding me? He's overrated.
You can push it from me right now.
For the interview?
Yes? Let those gifted hands go. Get out of here, Virgil. Go home.
What next?
You want the table shot at the three. You want me to run it? You want the table shot at the three.
BoxingVoice.com.
This is why we use the word sensation.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice. Today's episode, I'm a little excited. As you can see the title, Danny Garcia, maybe Pacquiao, possibly down the road. So I'm in a good mood. A lot of good things happened, man. A lot of good things happened yesterday, especially. We got a pretty good knockout, but got a few people I need to shout out, of course. N.O., I think it's N.O. Dude. Yes, N.O. Dude from the 504. Shout out to you. I got your email, brother. And much appreciated, the kind words. And, I'm going to keep doing what I do. Thanks to people like you, couple of iTunes reviews we might get to at the end of the show. Of course, the Floyd Mayweather glove giveaway, signed autograph glove. Remember, we're giving away that glove on the Sunday after the show. After the fight, of course, for our post show. And what else? What else we got to talk about? Of course, man, head on over to theboxingvoice.com and check out our sponsors on the affiliate sponsors page. And if you need to listen to this radio show, the best way is using the app. So head on over the Android market or the iTunes market. 646-478. I want to take some calls early. Want to get this thing going and talk some boxing, man, because like I said, a lot of good things happen, man. And I want to start that off with this Ring Magazine information that was released. Seems like Oscar De La Hoya and Bob Arum are seeking to truly end the Cold War. And for those that don't know, they've been mentioning this for a while now. Does this mean that this is concrete? No, but they're gonna meet as soon as next week. So, something that's on the table is Pacquiao Garcia. Now, it's funny, because I guess they're completely counting out Chris Algieri, which I will not be doing. But given that Pacquiao gets past Algieri, it looks like Bob and Oscar are looking to make a Pacquiao-Danny Garcia fight. So I think this is pretty big news, Got a couple of quotes we could throw out here. Golden Boy President Oscar De La Hoya said that he will meet with Top Rank CEO Bob Arum next weekend face-to-face in Los Angeles in order to talk about ending the Cold War between Golden Boy and Top Rank. We're going to be talking about ending the Cold War. between Golden Boy and Top Rank. My objective is to make the big fights, said De La Hoya. Golden Boy has fighters that can fight, top rank fighters, and who can make great fights. We want to make great fights, exciting fights that the people want to see, and that's what I want to talk about with Bob. So again, this is Oscar De La Hoya, but now, Arum is basically saying the same thing, He goes, let me see, where we at with some Arum. I spoke to Arum, and I put the audio out anyway. I spoke to Arum, and he said that the reason that they hadn't done business in the past was because of the Heyman thing and the Richard Schaefer. But again, you can definitely find out. I thought I had the Arum quote as well, but I'm gonna get to those a little bit later. But I mean, the biggest news is that they're gonna have a sit down. Because in the past, we've heard them say, yeah, we're looking to, of course we'll do fights with Bob Arum. Yeah, we'll do fights with Golden Boy. But they never had a meeting. So this is good. Plus, not to mention, a little bit of news that we're going to get into detail with is Canelo Alvarez. He may be headed back to HBO. So again, Top Rank is HBO. So maybe there's something going on there, man, and all this is a connection. Let me find out here. Let me go ahead and introduce my guy.
Introducing the hard-hitting ringside Robbie.
Hey, good evening, Ness. Well, I read an article in one of the newspapers I check out daily on Friday where Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao were talking about putting fights together like Danny Garcia and Floyd Mayweather and things like that. So, if what they're saying is true, this is nothing but good for the sport of boxing.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, this would definitely make some good fights, man. I mean, you could possibly get. I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know what does this mean. We just have to wait. We can't speculate anyway because look, right away I was gonna say Thurman Bradley, but Thurman is a Heyman fighter, and there's a problem with that.
Yeah, well, and I feel bad for Keith because he deserves a big fight. We need to see him in against somebody that's going to give him a real test. And right now, both Thurman and Bradley, as far as I know, they don't have fights scheduled, so that would be perfect. But Al is kind of in the way of all that. And I, like you, am not going to look past Chris Algieri. Like I said previously on this show, Algieri is going to present some things that Manny Pacquiao hasn't seen. Because of how tall he is and how long he is and his movement. The undercard may suck on that Macau card, but that fight is going to be interesting because Manny's going to see some things he hasn't seen in years.
Absolutely. So I finally found an Arum quote, and he says, I think that we could talk about Pacquiao Garcia. That's a fight that may make a lot of sense. Arum said, who has spoken to Pacquiao's advisor Michael Kuntz already about Garcia, and he goes on to say, I've mentioned the possibilities of that fight to Manny and Michael for down the road, and obviously that's something that might be of interest to our side, and I'm glad that they've expressed interest from their side, and we haven't talked about it, Oscar and I, but that's a fight that we would be interested in talking about. So if they're going to meet and they're going to talk like this, I mean, this is good. I mean, of course, it's kind of a sacrificial lamb for Garcia, but these are the fights that make you into a star. Cotto tried it. A lot of people tried to beat Pacquiao, and Pacquiao had to beat De La Hoya to become a star, and so did Floyd, and that's the way it goes. So Chris Algieri has that opportunity right now. Unfortunately, Bradley did not become a superstar because of the controversy, because people didn't feel that he really won that fight. But when you beat a guy like a Mayweather or a Pacquiao, you become a star. Let me take it out to the streets here, man. I think this is my boy, bright and early, too. Like to see that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nelson.
No, motherfucker, I didn't say my name was different. What the fuck?
Oh, you said your name was Nelson.
No, I didn't. You need to clean your motherfucking ears out, nigga. Yo, what's good, Ness?
What's up, brother?
Not much, man. Just you know, chilling, listening in, man. The thing about it is, man, TMT is must-see TV. They're always must-see, man. Because you never know when one of them is gonna get knocked off.
Wait. You're saying they're must-see TV?
Yeah.
All right. So the problem that I have with that statement is, if J. Leon Love was not signed to Mayweather, we would have not seen him on TV after he lost and cheated to Rosado. But we keep giving him passes, and he keeps getting opportunities. Wait a minute, because you chose to go the support them route. And what you're getting is bullshit. He got knocked out by a dude that he wasn't supposed to be knocked out on, and it was a fucking main event. And you're talking about must-see TV? No, we only care because we were forced to know his name. Because when he was signed to Lou DiBella, he looked okay, but the signs were always there. He always had a problem staying in shape. This is a dude that's still a prospect, and as a prospect, has changed weight classes 3 fucking times. And you talking about must-see TV? Oh, boy.
They must-see because they wind up losing, man, because they keep getting exposed. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, listen, I'm just like you. I love the fact that he got exposed, but at the end of the day, we need to give the people that deserve the airtime the fucking airtime. This is bullshit.
No, that's
like
true.
The Badu Jack fight.
Exactly true. That's exactly true. Well, I'm seeing the dude that they were trying to introduce yesterday, that Ronald Gavril guy, that dude's another chump.
Yo,
you don't get knocked out with the swiftness too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that he could be improved upon. The problem is all these guys are being trained by the same trainer. And listen, man, my hand to God, I got nothing against Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, but outside of Chad Dawson, who had a fucking psyche problem, that he jumped back and forth, you can tell that that's natural to him. You know, what champion Eddie Mustafa has had? Like, I mean, who's he done big things? Yeah, Ishai Smith won a title. That's not being a champion, man. Like, I don't know. And then again, I'm not blaming it on him, but all his guys is getting knocked out. Mickey Bay, Badu Jack, fucking now J. Leon Love. Like, the only one that don't get knocked out is because he got a Skeletor head is Ishai Smith.
Well, yeah, the funny thing about that is, I think actually Porky Medina himself summed it up best, even before the fight took place. He said the problem with all the TMT guys is they all try to fight just like Mayweather, but they're not Mayweather. They need to find their own style. And he went in there and he knocked fucking J. Leon Love's block off.
Babe, what you think of this? Let's start it from the top because Nelson took us all sporadically there. Let's start with the first fight. I don't even remember his name. I'm gonna pull it up in a sec, but I'm sure that you do.
Ronald Gavril.
Yes. What did
that was basically a showcase fight, a fight to develop a young fighter, a growing process type fight. So basically, the opponent that he was in there against wasn't really going to pose any serious questions, and he didn't. So based off of that, he did what he was supposed to do. But again, we can't really judge a fighter based off of fighting lower level opposition because the bar, as you said, is set so high for these guys. But all in all, I don't see anything spectacular about this kid. I don't think he's bad, but I don't see anything that jumps out at me that says to me that this kid is going to be special. Now, again, does he have to be special? Probably not. Will he be a world champion? It's going to take a long time for me to have to come to a conclusion of that. So I don't know really what to think. I don't think he's bad, but again, he's not spectacular. Nothing really stood out.
Yeah, for me, I'm not gonna judge him just yet because you know when he had that little flurry that he was trying to get the knockout and it was right before the stoppage, he did throw it what looked like a lot of force and they weren't landing flush. So I'm gonna at least wait a couple of more fights to see how he looks when he lands those flush shots, similar to the right hand he landed that dropped the guy. Didn't he? Yeah, he got a knockout. I mean, a knockdown, right?
Knockdown, but not a knockout.
Okay. Yeah. So
You're getting tagged in that fight, though, man.
Yeah, because this is the dude that fought the guy with the crazy hair, right?
I don't know who the guy with the crazy hair is.
What fight was that? It had to be this fight. Nelta, who was the opponent?
Wait, for Gavril?
Yes.
To be honest with you, I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, all I know, I can't remember his name either, but all I know is he was from Rhode Island.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
Thomas Faloa.
Oh my God, you guys are telling me. I bet you some callers are gonna call in. This dude, look, I swear to God, listen, God forgive me, but it looked like they found this dude behind a bar. Y'all didn't see this man's face and hair? You didn't see that hair? Oh my God. I gotta take some calls. I gotta take some calls. Nelta, man, you're horrible. I don't know. You're all over the place. I gotta find out. Am I the only one? Let me see. 832, you're live on the Box Boy. Talk to us.
What's going on, Ness?
What's up, brother? Who's this?
Hey, it's Wes, man. I'm always calling every week from Houston, man.
What's going on, Wes? Talk to us.
Man, only thing I gotta say is that I've been really critical about J. Leon Love ever since the Rosado fight, and so what happened yesterday was not a surprise to me. I've been looking for that to happen because I know he's been keeping himself open. The only person that I must say that really have skills in that TMT is Mickey Bey. The only reason that Mickey Bey lost is because I believe that he kind of let himself go. But I believe the skill set he had before he got basically knocked out, the skill set he showed was real good because he was winning. He was winning basically all the rounds.
Caller.
But take.
One moment. Either you or B have the radio playing in the background because we have an echo. But while you fix that, I will tell you that I agree with you, and I'm sure Beeb does because, he's more technical than I. But Mickey Bey, to me, passes the eye test. He has good he's a good technical boxer, uses the ring, uses his jab, and yeah, on one side I could say, yes, he, played to the crowd and didn't pay attention in the Molina fight, but that doesn't escape the fact that I think he lost a piece of his tooth in that fight and his chin. I mean, yeah, Molina's a big puncher, but that means he could be knocked out. I mean, at 135, I guess there is no one that probably punches as hard as Molina at this point, right? But Beeb, who do you think could knock Mickey Bey out? Because let's face it, Miguel Vasquez isn't going to knock him out.
At 130 or 135? He's 135 now, so Crawford would knock him out, I think.
Yeah, but that fight, that fight can't happen. Mayweather, Bob Arum will never happen.
Probably not, but I don't really. I just talk about fighters in general, but
Yeah, well, if we go with Crawford, absolutely. I'm high on Crawford, so I would say yes. So, Carl, I'm gonna bring you back on so you can rebuttal that and let us know.
Well, hey, can you hear anything now? Am I cool?
Oh yeah. We just did you hear our answer?
Right. I heard you.
Okay, well, what do you
think?
I
agree with him. I think in terms of skills, he's definitely the best, Mickey Bey. But I just want to chime in with one thing about all the fighters from the Money Team camp. They're not great inside type fighters, and if you notice, every time a guy gets up close on them, that's when they have the problems. So I'm going to bring up a topic I know people are going to get mad at, but this is why you need to have those skills that Kell Brook has, where you can grab a guy, tie him up, freeze him, spin him, turn off, give him a push, and control it.
Babe, don't promote.
Let me finish, because you're killing my point. You're killing my point. This is the horrible. It's the worst time to interrupt. It's the worst time to interrupt because I'm teaching right now. So basically, this is why you got to teach guys who aren't great inside fighters to hold, because we're all predisposed to have strengths and weaknesses. And you could sit there and say, I'm going to work on my weaknesses, but at some point you can only go so far with that. So what do you have to do? You have to reinforce your strengths and focus more on your strengths to compensate for your weaknesses. So if J. Leon Love tied his opponent up last night when Maidana, when he got close, grabbed him, spun him, and turned him into the ropes and pushed and created a little space and pushed off a little bit, he wouldn't have got knocked out. So you got to know who you are as a fighter. And I think I'm going to say something that may sound like I'm sensationalizing, but I think to some degree Badou Jack kind of learned who he was last night as a fighter, and he made a decision, you know what, I'm going to use my strengths and not try to do the things that I'm not good at. I'm going to use my footwork. I'm going to use my distance. I'm going to use my boxing ability. And that's what the rest of the team needs to do. And you know what? I still think J. Leon Love's a good fighter. People are going to say, oh, he's got no chin. But if you're on the ground twitching like that, that means that's an autonomic response from your brain. You have no control over that. Anyone gets hit like that and they're twitching, there's nothing you can do. Your brain just told you, hey, we're shutting down early today. We're closing up shop. That's the end of it. So it is what it is.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, B, because earlier in the actual fight, or like a second before the actual knockout itself with J. Leon Love, I think the left hand obviously put the icing on the cake. But if you see two punches before that, he lands an overhand right that really kind of like when you see his eyes, they kind of blink. I think that stunned him, and then the left hook is what finished him off. But I don't know about you, but I saw J. Leon Love last night looked wider in his stance than I've ever seen him before. There were certain things that it just seemed like he was cocky coming into this fight. It seemed like he just knew he was going to blow this dude out, and he didn't even take it serious. His hands weren't up with his guard. His hands were down around his waist, and I apologize if I'm repeating anything, but I mean, when he got caught with that left hook, obviously he was out, but I think it was more that right hand that sent him into remission, and then that left hook just put him out, and he was just done.
The problem
and you got to feel for the dude, too, because I've never seen this before. His mom rushed up and was, like, on the ring holding his hand while he was knocked out. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. I think that was his mom.
Wait, guys, because we never let the caller finish. She's been...
Oh, my bad. I didn't even know a caller was on. I apologize, caller.
No, there's nothing to rebut what you guys have said. Definitely, I agree. Out of the whole stable of the TMT camp, they're not rising to the occasion of I guess the expectation we everybody have. But I think to a certain degree it's unfair because Mayweather sets a standard so high that when we see TMT getting ready to fight, anybody from TMT get ready to fight, and when they get knocked out like what your boy got knocked out yesterday, or somebody loses, we say, hey man, this stable is not good. And like it was the other caller that basically said that they try to fight like Mayweather, and there's nothing wrong to use somebody's style. I think what is missing is they trying to use a style of fight like Mayweather without the discipline and without the basic. I think the basic fundamentals that Mayweather holds and Mayweather basically possesses, I think that's what's missing. It's just like Andre Berto. If you try to do the shoulder roll without the basic fundamentals and understanding the science of that type of style, you'll get the crap beat out of you just like Andre Berto did.
But I have to jump in with one point because I disagree with that. I think the problem is they don't fight like Mayweather. Because when Mayweather gets close, you get close to Mayweather, he ties you up. These guys, I think the problem, they're trying too hard to look exciting and score dramatic knockouts, and that's where they're having problems. When Maidana got up close to him, he decided he was going to trade with him at that point in time, and that's not his game to fight up close like that. Mayweather, when Cotto got close to him, when Maidana got close to him, he tied them up. So I don't think they really are fighting like Mayweather. I think they're just trying too hard to be exciting. I think the moment is getting to them. They're getting that adrenaline rush. I got to make a statement, and they're trying to knock people out.
Let me ask you a question.
They should just win.
So, like, when I think of the TMT team, I think of the easiest way to comparison would be to break it out of boxing and go more to the basketball side of it. I call this the Michael Jordan effect. Michael Jordan, you could arguably one of the greatest basketball players of all time, but when he makes draft picks, when he does trades, it's fucking heinous. Like, it's the worst fucking shit of all time. It doesn't mean because you're talented, you can see talent in other people. I'm not saying they're not talented, but we got to remember, with the TMT team, these people are on our air. We see them all the time. We see them in social media. We have certain expectations for these fighters because they're in our view. We see them all the time. And they don't get time to develop. I mean, Jalen Love is 18-0, and he keeps running into these roadblocks. This isn't the first time his chin was checked and we questioned it. Even against Parabon in the fight before that, he's always been tested. So I think it's just a matter of us almost overblowing this to be like, all right, let's see what your TMT team has. But they're not stellar performances. They're never stellar fighters. I mean, Jalen Love is what he is, man. He's not going to be the greatest fighter. Mickey Bay is what he is. All these fighters, we just see them all the time, so we hold a higher expectation for them. And when they fail, we see it on a grand scale. They're going through what a lot of fighters do, and unfortunately, some fighters just don't succeed. Not every fighter could be a championship fighter. And I think that's exactly what's going on with the TMT team, man. It's just he's not picking the right caliber fighters. These fighters are around Floyd Mayweather. And, like, the easiest thing is to say, Beep, you've been in a gym. The moment you see someone doing, like, practicing a Philly shell on the fucking heavy bag, you want to run over to him and be like, no, bro, no, just do not do that. Please, do not do that. And it's just, these fighters aren't doing it in the sense of they're trying to be Mayweather, but there's a certain allure, I believe, that there is when you're on the TMT team that you think, oh, I've made it. And if you haven't paid your dues or you just haven't really walked the line of a fierce fight or just, like, a battle, you never know who you are as a fighter. These fighters can be talented, but if you can't take a punch or you never were built up properly to take certain styles of punch or certain styles in general, that's the thing. I don't want to say the word exposed, but that's the only way I can describe it right now.
I don't think they're bad fighters.
Are always getting exposed.
I don't think they're bad
Ricky
fighters.
Bay got knocked out. Badu Jack got knocked out. Love got knocked out. All these people are getting knocked out. And there's a reason why behind that.
I don't think they're bad fighters. I just think they're trying too hard to look impressive instead of just winning fights. That's what I think. That's just my opinion.
I think that's the allure of the camp, man. They're trying to be flashy. Flashy is not what they should be doing.
Because he's putting it's too much pressure on them to be under that banner, and they're fighting outside of themselves. I think Love could have easily won that fight last night if he just fought it like he fought the 2 rounds. And that's playing Monday morning quarterback, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But there was no need for him to stand in that corner, grit his teeth, and say to himself, I'm gonna land my left hook and hurt this guy. I'm gonna fight this guy toe-to-toe on the inside. When that is not your game, when you can win another way. They don't want to win and be boring. They're afraid of looking bad. That's the problem. When you're in there and you're afraid to look bad, you're going to do things that you normally wouldn't do just so you can look impressive. And that's what I think's happening. Mickey Bay did not have to go out there and try to knock out John Molina in that last round. He did not have to do that. But because he's on TV and he's under that banner, he's going to try and do that. Because I think I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, Floyd Mayweather Sr. said, I think you could stop him this round. Why don't you go out there and put a little something on him? You know what I'm saying? I heard him say that. I did hear him say that. So that was a mistake. I would never have given that advice out.
And I think that pressure was a little bit hard for him to handle, but I never at one point in those first 2 rounds thought this pressure would catch up to him. I was just sitting there thinking that, oh, man, he's coming forward, he's going to take some shots, and he's just going to outbox him, man. But when I saw that, it was a weird knockout because it just happened out of nowhere. Like, there was no indication of this. And I saw that Love was being a little bit cocky, a little bit confident, and he had issues. But I don't know, man. The TMT team right now, until proven otherwise, I don't even pay attention to them anymore. I'll still watch because I love boxing, but I'm not paying attention to these fools anymore.
Well, James, you and I agree because that's exactly my point. I feel like these guys are in our face, so we expect something from them. But what has to be said, see, Beeb is still giving them opportunities, and those that continue to lose the way that Love has lost, I'm not interested because he had the issue with Rosado, then with Peribon, and now with this guy, all consecutive. And I just want to rebuttal something that Beeb said like half an hour ago. The reason I tried to interrupt you is because you're coming on here and promoting Holden, and before you interrupt me, just let me finish. You said that what they lack is what Kell Brook has. The ability to grab up someone or tie them. You use both those words. Don't interrupt. I hear you. Just relax.
Yep.
So the problem with that is you're promoting what is technically illegal. Okay? You're only allowed to tie up with one hand, not both. You can't hold the fighter because you're afraid to fight on the inside. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now I'll jump to your other point, which was a few minutes ago, about Jay Leon trying harder than what he should. I disagree with that as well. When he went into that corner, he was using the ring very well, first of all. I understand that he was being pressured, but he still was using the ring, and he still was controlling the tempo of that fight. He was doing the better work, in my opinion, anyway. James, relax. You and B, y'all had a tag team. Y'all didn't even let me talk for half an hour.
Go.
You know, when he went in that corner, you got to remember, he didn't try to trade with a hooker. He was trying to counter the guy, but the guy's left hook was just faster. And, you know, James said something about the right hand, but I think it was the right hand that hit him on the back of the head on the way down. Remember, there was that one punch, and then he just laid there. And Ellerby's face was epic. There was just like no emotion. I watched that shit. I promise you guys, I watched it so many times in slow-mo, and someone grabs Ellerby by the shoulder, and he just drops down, like he puts his forearms on his knees, and he just looks straight ahead, and there's no emotion as he's watching Jay Leon Love. If you rewind it, you see Mayweather say, oh, shit. I mean, this thing was amazing. This is what boxing is about, but that doesn't mean we should want to see Jay Leon Love again on television. He needs to rebuild off air. So when you rebuttal me, please keep that in mind. That
I agree with that.
That he's not a good fighter.
I agree with that.
Just that he needs to rebuild off air. We've given him too many primetime television opportunities to prove to us that he's on the level of the guy that knocked him out last night. Of course he was confident. His stablemate knocked the dude out. Like, this dude is main eventing. Okay, so keep in mind when you call in here and you talk about, oh, it's not fair, Ness. You know, there's only one black promoter. Let him get his fighters on. No, don't give me that bullshit, because he was headlining with a dude Badu Jack knocked out a couple of fights ago. This is not fair to us, the consumer.
That's 100% correct. Mm-hmm. I agree with you when you're saying that aspect of it. Because basically these are ESPN level fights, if that, and they're being showcased on a premium cable network. I'm not going to get too much into the Holden argument with you, because I know your stance on that. You're just not a fan of it. But as James and myself told you, trainers actually do teach it in the gym. He was told that he needs to learn how to do it by a fighter. And you will see Mayweather tie up Maidana when Maidana gets too close for comfort in a couple weeks. So it's a part of boxing. It's never going away. I'm just going to leave it at that. I know you're not going to agree with me. I know you don't like holding. I know that's your stance, and I respect your opinion. But it is taught in the gym. James and I were taught it in the gym. James and I did do it when we were in the gym, and it extends your career, and it helps you win fights. But with that being said, these were ESPN level fights that were on Showtime, so you will get no argument from me on that point. And are these guys getting a pass because they are connected? Of course they are, but they're not going to be the first, and they're not going to be the last. And should they rebuild? Absolutely. But again, I am still not ready to dig that hole, throw them in it, and put the dirt on top of it, because I still see potential in each and every one of these fighters. I really do. I don't think Jay Leon Love is a bad fighter. I see some strength in him. I'm not going to sit there and say he sucks as a fighter. He could legitimately beat a guy like Sakio Bika. He could legitimately beat, with some seasoning, a guy like Anthony Durrell. I don't see him beating a Froch. I don't see him beating a Ward. But there are certain guys that I think he could beat, given the right circumstances, and if he fights within himself.
The problem when I see with your argument with Love, though, is I already had questions about his chin and about the way he fights already. And then when this happens, I mean, I don't want to say I'm giving up on a fighter because, Christ, man, every time I've given up on a fighter, they come back and kind of bit me in the ass. But, I mean, I don't think Jalen Love is going to be anything big, man, to be honest with you.
Well, I'll say this. I give Jalen Love absolutely no fucking shot against Anthony Durrell. You kidding me?
I would pick Sakio Bika over Love right now.
Well, I'm thinking the styles. I'm thinking styles because Durrell's not really an up close aggressive fighter. Durrell's a counterpuncher, so I think style-wise he would match up better against him than he would a Bika. So I'm not thinking of basically just. I'm not going to sit there and say just because he looked like this, that means it's going to carry over into another fight because, again, everyone fights differently against certain guys. I don't think Anthony Durrell would bring that pressure that Maidana brings. I don't think he would try to fight him up close like Maidana did. So that's why I think it's an interesting fight from that aspect.
Anthony Durrell brought the
power. He has more. Both Sakio Bika and Anthony Durrell have more power than the dude that beat Love last night. Plus, more power than Rosado. Maybe Perry, I don't know. Perry Bond has never been in with world-class opposition and hurt them. The only world-class opposition, if you want to say that, is Sakio Bika. But anyway, we've been talking about Love far too long. I do want to praise Badu Jack the way that you did, Beeb. I think that he did what he needed to do. He fought the fight that he needed to fight, and he did it without holding. He had fears of being knocked out again, and he did it without holding. Simple as that. Let's take it to the streets, man. I don't know who this is. It could be Ari, it could be MV Chu, and it could be someone new altogether.
What's up, man?
It is MV Chu. What's up, man? I need to play your intro because I don't get to hear it anymore.
With the blood of a Scottish warrior coursing through his veins, this man proclaimed,
I fucking love boxing. What's up, guys? I saw the Jillian Love fight. I think TMT now stands for too much twerking. And
I guess I'll let Neff laugh because I thought I was the only one that was going to laugh on that.
Yo, say it again, please. Say it again, please.
Give me a soundbite.
I think TMT stands for too much twerking.
Yo, his leg was going crazy.
That was the stanky leg, yo. He was giving you the stanky leg.
I felt so bad for his mother. She was telling him to stay down. I can't even hear her. I was reading her lips, but I like the voice I envisioned, even though she looks nothing like it, was Adrian's voice from Rocky. Like, you can't win, baby. Stay down.
The funny thing was the person who ran to the ring. There was a guy in like the first row or the third row or something, and like a little fat guy, and he just ran to the ring apron. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, that was his mom, I think you're thinking of.
Is you lean on Love because he keeps getting leaned. Not a fan. The thing with Jillian Love is he's a light middleweight. I don't care about his weight on fight night. Whatever he rehydrates down to, he's a 154 guy. Every time I see him in the ring, he looks outsized. And he circles constantly. It's like he's on a carousel. I don't want to see that.
Yo, and he only circled to his left hand or his left side straight into that right cross.
Well, you guys know. I mean, you're meant to circle away from the powerful hand, but
yep. Especially when the dude's giving you pressure, you circle away from the power.
I just wanna jump in and reply to someone on the Twitter feed to keep the interaction there. Basically, Ryan Bivens is saying Showbox fights are generally ESPN level fights. To be fair, but I think he's being way beyond fair. I think he's being sympathetic, kind. I don't know, something bigger, because not even on ESPN do you see a dude lose 3 times and get back on TV. Like Jay Leon Love, his last 3 fights are all questionable. All starting from Rosado. So like, hell yeah, we should be rough on him.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Was that considered a Showbox fight, or was that what was that considered? Because that was on at 10. Oh, what was it, Showbox? Because usually Showbox is on at 11. That card was on at 10, maybe because there was 3 fights. I don't know, but I'm used to seeing Showbox start at 11. He makes a point. I mean, obviously it's not.
Remember that Espinoza put out the statement last week saying that that boxing is the only sport that makes their
yeah, I thought he was only going to do that with the pay-per-view, though. I thought that was just for that one event with the pay-per-view. I didn't know.
And you may be right, but like you're saying, it does usually start later, and it started earlier. It actually started at 9:30, wasn't it? Or was that?
It started right at 10, which is usually the same time. Which is usually the same time that the championship boxing starts. So you're in that similar time slot, is what I'm saying. So it's close to prime time. So I was just saying, normally that's when the main event type fights would be showcased on Showtime. So he makes a good point, though. But still,
since we have you and my co-hosts were not on when I was talking about the big news that Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya are going to meet next week, and they've both already bounced the idea of Pacquiao Garcia in their mind, and you're this huge, well, actually, you're not a huge fan of Pacquiao because you picked Kell Brook to stop him, I believe. But the point is, anyway, what do you think about this new news so we could get away from the Jay Leon Love thing?
I like Manny. Just because I'm picking Kell Brook doesn't mean I don't like Manny. I think Manny is a very entertaining fighter. I believe that when I see it, what would be the purpose of a Danny Garcia Manny Pacquiao fight? I think that's possibly just a smoke screen. Danny Garcia needs a big fight. He's due a big fight. The thing is, there's not much money left with Manny Pacquiao. Who's going to get him over the 1 million buys again? He can't do it himself anymore because he's been knocked out. So he needs someone else. Is that person going to be Danny Garcia? Danny Garcia has never been on pay-per-view.
I think he could bring 1 million views, though. I think he's big enough name where he could kind of get the recognition. But I don't like this fight. Because Danny Garcia, I mean, I'm not saying Danny Garcia would go to 140 for this because Pacquiao could come down. But essentially, that's what you're asking Garcia to do. And even if it's at a catch weight or at 140, whatever the fuck ever, Pacquiao is a different level than what Garcia is at right now. I hate Mayor Nation, but Danny Garcia needs more experience with bigger foes for this to happen. Manny Pacquiao right now, he would destroy Garcia.
He still has a puncher's chance.
I don't know about that because, like Ned said, Danny's got the punch. If Danny lands a left hook on Manny, Manny's got a questionable chin. I've been saying about Manny the last couple of fights. They've picked his opponents right. They've picked a guy in Brandon Rios who doesn't have the speed to punch him. They've picked Algieri who can't punch, and they've picked Tim Bradley who can't punch. So I think he's been protected in a way, and I think Danny Garcia has got the ability to connect, and he's got the ability to hurt him. But I still think Manny would win. I just think Danny's... Danny fluked that Lucas win. I don't care what anybody says. What's he done since? That's his biggest win, and he's cashing in on that. He's cashed in on that. But the boxing fans shouldn't let him get away with lesser fights continuously. If he fought Manny, he would get my respect. But that should be where he's going now. Why the constant side steps? Backward steps in your career to make easy money because you're promised a minimal by Al Heyman. These minimals are what's killing boxing, man. HBO is not going to have a fucking...
Hold on, B. You have your YouTube on over there, my friend.
No, I do not actually.
Ness, let me ask you, I guess while you're trying to get that shit figured out, is Danny Garcia, to my knowledge, isn't signed to Golden Boy, and he's only Al Heyman. So this would be like a monumental crossover. This isn't Golden Boy working with Top Rank. This is Al Heyman working with Top Rank, right?
You're absolutely right. If that were to happen, I mean, and maybe Bob Arum doesn't know that because, again, you know, my last conversation with him, he says it on there that, you know, Heyman is always going to be an issue with him. As long as it's not a Heyman fighter, he can do it.
And that's a Heyman fighter. That's not Golden Boy. You've interviewed him. He said he's not Golden Boy.
He spoke directly about the Peter Quillen situation. He said, no, the Cold War, basically he said the Cold War is over, but they choose not to do business because Peter Quillen was with Heyman. I mean, again, the audio is there. Let's take it out to the streets, man. We gotta get through some of these calls. We got a lot of people tonight, and a lot of people, a lot of alumni.
Word up, son. Word.
Yeah, to all the killers and the underneath, I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers.
Yo, Ness, what up? Yo, James B, yo, what up, though, man?
What's going on, my brother?
Hey, yeah, man. Yeah, I got a lot of topics to talk about. First topic, man, the Mayweather stable, they garbage, man. All of them, they ain't got no chins.
Basura.
They ain't got no chins, and they done for. They trying to be like Mayweather, and they can't. They skills not like that. When they get in the ring, they expected to try to impress Mayweather, so they be under pressure from the door, and they don't have no chin, man. Point blank, they don't have a chin. Baju Jack don't got no chin. Leon Love got knocked the fuck out with that left hook, man. That shit was pretty. He tried to, listen, he was running, and then he tried to go in the ring. That dude, man, knocked him out cold. He was shaking. He was shaking like he had an orgasm on the floor, man. Story, man. It was crazy, man. Yo, Mayweather better get a whole bunch of new stable. Let them fight on ESPN or some on a non-name telecast or whatever. And that dude, Ronald, from Romania, he was getting tattooed by a dude they got from the bar. This dude ain't no boxer, man. That dude looked like he was retarded, man. That dude wasn't no boxer, man. He was tattooing the guy from Romania, who they said nobody's scared. They scared to get in the dog pound with him, and nobody want to spar with him. He was getting hit all night, man. If that dude had power, he'd have knocked him out, man. He was getting tattooed all night, man. By nobody, by this dude who looked crazy. Something wrong with that dude, man. His head is like deformed. I don't know what's wrong with that dude. And another thing, man, Danny Garcia better stay away from Pacquiao, man. Pacquiao too quick. And I like Danny Garcia. He's just too slow right now. He's not ready for that, man. Maybe a year or two or something like that. He's not ready for Pacquiao too quick for him, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that right hook, he catch Pacquiao, he might knock him down, might knock him out. But then again, that's something like Pacquiao could avoid. You know what I'm saying? Power or whatever like that. And, and the Cold War is not really over, man. It can't be over. He's not going to fight Al Heyman fighters, man. It ain't over, man. Because De La Hoya really ain't got no fighters. If you think about it, Al Heyman got all the fighters. So how they going to match people up? They ain't got no fighters, man, to match up with. So, and they talking about Mayweather 2015, and there's been a lot of talk about that too. So we don't know how that's going to play out. And that's, again, Al Heyman down. But Mayweather do what he want to do, so there's a difference for that. And, that's all I had to say, man. And B, B, man. Stop promoting Holden, man. Man, come on, B. Stop promoting Holden on here, man.
Out of the game, bro. Me and you scrap in the street. Me and you scrap in the street, right? You get too close to me, I might grab you and throw you around, man. That's what I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? I'll do what I gotta do to win, bro. I'm
Let
not
me
going to sit
defend
here and
Beef
say,
real quick.
I'm not going to sit here and make a silent agreement with you and let you know, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I promise you I won't do that. When it's a fight, man. I'm going to do whatever the referee let me do.
But you trying to tell people it's all right for the hole, so they get.
I don't mind it. It don't bother me, man.
They don't get no passing doing it. That's what Kell Brooks did all night.
Don't bother me, man. I know
he
that
gonna hold
fighters.
that belt, and he gonna fight nothing but bums. I guarantee you, man.
Kell Brook is the truth, man. I'm sorry.
He's not the truth. Not holding like that.
He's the truth, man.
Yeah, he ain't the truth. Not holding like that. It's impossible. We gonna see. Time will tell, brothers. Time will tell.
He's the truth, man.
All right, next James B, man.
All right, man. Be good.
Man, I'll be back on here another time. Peace.
All right.
All right, QB. Thanks for calling in. So I just want to switch over because it's kind of related. Canelo may be headed back to HBO. It looks like Eric Gomez, the vice president, which is a new role, and this also is another topic I want to throw out there. I mean, look, Eric Gomez was the matchmaker, now he's the vice president. Leonard Ellerbe, does anybody but me remember him being in the corner of Mayweather? Now he's like the CEO. So things change. And I'm saying that to say this. Canelo is not with Showtime, so he has no contract. And Eric Gomez made it clear that Canelo's next fight is not going to be on pay-per-view because Canelo feels that he doesn't want to oversaturate the market. So look at the young new golden boy, basically throwing a bone to the fans, right? Being the people's champ. And still mentioning names like James Kirkland as a possible opponent. Again, this fight, either Showtime or HBO, is going to get his next fight. So it's off to the highest bidder. But what do you guys think? This is good. I like this. See, because this is a good way to keep boxing fair amongst these promoters. If more and more of these fighters didn't have contract and the fight could just go to the highest bidder or to that person that thought that fight deemed being on their network, things would probably be a little better. But what do you guys think?
I like the Kirkland fight a lot, but the last thing I read, I think it was on the boxing scene, is that Colati is #1 right now for Canelo, and for whatever reason, people are going to shit on me. I don't hate Joshua Colati versus for Canelo, man. I think that's a great fight because, I think Colati proved himself against Maidana to still be not relevant but competitive, and I think that would present issues. If I had to choose between the two, Kirkland all day because Kirkland gives you exciting fights, and he's going to pressure the shit out of Canelo. He's going to do what we thought Angulo was going to do, but last I heard, I guess, I think Colati's going to probably be the one that actually sinks this in.
What's the weight class going to be? Because Colati's been fighting at 160.
No, Colati fought Maidana, I thought, at 154.
He fought at 160. He's with style boxing now.
But didn't he fight Mundine at 154?
That's what I thought, yeah.
Not sure. I heard he was at 160. I'll have to double check. I think that fight was over the weight limit.
I'm checking it for you right now.
Search it on the site. I know that we did an article on.
Yeah, I'll look it up. You guys could be right, but I could have sworn I heard him say he was going to 160.
Well, this is the thing. And I'll say this, because James said if he had a choice, so he's telling you guys, look, he's acknowledging the sport that we love and the condition that it's in, and if he had it his way, he'd take the Kirkland fight. But he's not upset with the Colati fight, and neither am I, and I'm going to tell you why. Not because Colati is an exciting opponent, but I'd accept him for many reasons. The fact that we at least know he's durable. He can take some shots. He gave Cotto a really tough fight, I believe also Mosley. But outside of that, that if Golden Boy and Top Rank do business, Top Rank isn't just going to throw a super fight at them. So they're going to test the waters with a guy like, because Colati's with Star Boxing now. So, wow, this is, okay, I guess.
Colati Mundine was at 154. It was at 154.
Yeah, that Mundine fight was at 154. You're correct.
Okay,
yep.
I thought that was the case. But let's get to some other callers here. Let me see. At 301, you're live. Who's this?
Is Alvin?
Who? 301, you're live. Okay. Don't get scared, my friend. You don't have to talk. 941, you're live.
What it do? It's yourself.
What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, I wanted to mix it up real quick. Get some new topics out there, man. We got some fights coming up on the 5th, man, the WBC flyweight belt. You got your boy Chocolatito moving up, trying to fight Agishagi. You know anything about that fight?
Well, I don't, because I'm not a fan of that weight class, but Vic is all about that weight class. And B, but I mean...
No, so, yo, and if I had to say that there was a fight to be excited for, it's next weekend with Estrada versus Segura. That fight's going to be a fucking... I hate labeling fight of the year, but that shit has potential to be fight of the year. Estrada versus Segura, do not miss that shit. I'm telling you, it's going to be great.
Yeah, well, the problem is that that's going to be on Blend Sports and Espanol. I don't even know if people have that. I don't even know. I never even heard of that network.
Yo, my cable provider, you got to get like the sports package and then the second sports package to even get that shit. So I don't even.
I want to chime in just real quick about Claudio, because he did fight Mundine at 154, but the two fights before that were 156. So maybe he's moving back down to 154. I don't know, because
Canelo weighs in at 155.
So it probably would be like an over the weight limit type of fight, I'm guessing. I don't think it'll be at like exactly 154, because it could be a catch weight. Because eventually Canelo's going to move up to 160 too.
Yeah, he's getting pretty big. But Canelo, man, I was never a big Canelo fan at all. But I super got to give him some props, because even though, nobody wanted him to fight Lara, he was like, nah, fuck that shit, I'm fighting Lara. What's up? And then you got which I really, really respect. That's why it stunned me. I'm jumping all over the board, but your boy, Santa Cruz, when he put out the tweet, I know he probably talked about it 1,000 times, but calling Riggo out, and then Riggo was like, what's up, let's get it, and then he's like, well, I just need like 5, 6 tune-up fights, and then we can do that. So he really got scared. Did y'all see the video where Riggo's trainer just straight punked him out in Spanish on YouTube?
I haven't seen it.
Riggo's trainer punked who out?
Oh, Santa Cruz. Super nasty. He had like an interview on Deporte Cubano USA on Twitter. Y'all didn't see that video? They got it translated. He interviews him in Spanish. I speak both, but he interviews him in Spanish, and oh man, he calls out Santa Cruz real bad, man. Talking about too short, a man can't sleep. He's lying to his wife and kids. He ain't the champ. All kind of shit. It was hilarious. I'm surprised I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I said that many times on this show, that if they ever translated appropriately for Rigondeaux and Lara, they talk a lot of shit. I remember when I interviewed him for the Nonito Donaire fight. I'm telling you, dude, he doesn't hold back at all. But 914, you got anything else for us before we go to some other people?
Yeah, it's 941, but yeah, I'm Cuban, and I speak Spanish, man, and those are the worst translators. I swear to G, they don't say nothing that some dudes be saying. Nothing. Like, we be sitting there unreal at my house because they just be making stuff up. They don't even say what the fighter says. And yeah, Rigondeaux and Lara, they got that Cuban swag, so they don't hold back nothing. He be selling out everybody, but the dude don't know how to translate it because he's Mexican. So we don't have the same slang. You know what I mean? It's like going to New York talking to somebody and then going out to Montana. You know what I mean? And talking about steers and horses. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's English, but it's two completely different swags. You know what I mean? So they get it all wrong. But I appreciate the time, fellas.
Man, we appreciate you, man. You're the second Cuban caller that we've had that I can remember anyway, or that made it a point to let us know. So we appreciate that, brother. And thank you for calling. Let me get to some other things here. There's a lot of stuff going on, though, man. And also, a fight that you don't want to miss is and this is another thing, the AWE network. I can't even get it. They're not even accepting people, right, James?
Yeah, I've been trying for fucking months. They don't even want to take my money. Fuck them.
Hopefully, I'm going to be able to watch it on Sky or Box Nation on the Apple TV. But Kiko Martino's, Carl Frampton, I know that people have been tweeting us. Yes, we're going to make sure that we focus on this a lot on the Thursday show, of course, catering to, our listeners, man. And plus, it's a pretty big fight. I think that Kiko Martinez is a completely different fighter than he was when he fought Carl Frampton way back then. But let's there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Neither one of you guys were on when we mentioned the Manny Pacquiao undercard. But actually, let's talk about this Jermaine Taylor thing because wow, this guy had a title shot set up with Sam Solomon, and now he shot his cousin, and the former undisputed middleweight champion Jermaine Taylor was freed on a $25,000 bond Wednesday. He better have called Fast Break 973 7,000. Your freedom call. But yeah, man, that was funny. 25,000 for shooting somebody. That's awfully low, like really low. But anyway, Taylor appeared via video from Pulaski County Jail for his initial court appearance Wednesday. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf. Taylor faces preliminary charges of domestic battery and aggravated assault in the late Tuesday shooting of Tyrone Hinton. Taylor didn't speak when he left the jail, accompanied by a bail bondsman, his attorney, Allison Allard of North Little Rock. Didn't immediately return any calls to the Associated Press or comments. So, what do you guys think about this? I mean, at least he's out, so clearly, I'm pretty sure he's gonna want to fight to get that money.
I was shocked. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. All I care about is he fighting Sam Solomon or not, man. That makes me sound fucking insensitive, but whatever the fuck ever. I don't care about Jermaine Taylor, and then I didn't care about him getting the title shot. He's doing this. He shot someone. It sucks. I don't know what else to say.
I was shocked to hear the news, man. And you're right, the bail was kind of low, right?
Yeah, very low, very low. Even with a bail bondsman, because okay, let's say it better had been $250,000, and he paid the bail bondsman 10% at 25. Because I mean, come on. I mean, unless
isn't that normally like $100,000 bail? I mean, I'm not versed in that.
Usually more, especially when you shoot someone. Like if he hit the cousin, that's attempted murder.
So it's more than 100,000.
I mean, it depends. Again, it depends. Yes, it's more than 100,000.
Okay.
But it also depends the county. It also depends the prosecutor, and it also depends where I believe the wound took place on the body for it to be an attempt. Like if you hit it in the leg, they ain't gonna charge you with
attempted murder. I got you.
But yeah, James, I'm glad that you said that because I'm just doing my job by putting out informative news for those that follow us for their information. Some people don't like to read; they like to have their news read to them. So I consider us that. But I feel exactly like you, and I'm glad that you said it so that I could at least echo it, which is I don't really give a fuck. I kind of hope that this situation doesn't allow him to fight Sam Solomon because
me too, man.
to fight Sam Solomon any fucking way. And this is what I say when we need to. Okay, there's either a time for conversation when we're talking, knowing the politics in boxing, and there's a time when we are excluding everything and we only want the fights. And right now, that is this time. And, I don't give a fuck that he shot somebody because what I'm reading indicates to me that this motherfucker walked in, because I'm a conspiracy theorist. I've said it hundreds and hundreds of times on the show. So he walked in on his cousin, probably was banging out the chick, and he started letting him have it. Because how is it a domestic violence? I'm going to go back up to the charge, okay? Entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Taylor faces preliminary charges of domestic battery and aggravated assault. Correct me if I'm wrong, but domestic has to be with your significant other, right? Girlfriend or wife. I don't know if domestic falls under family member in general, and this being a cousin. But assuming that it doesn't, and when you speak of domestic, normally, typically, you're talking about a domestic violence is something between you and a woman, a man and a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know nothing about the fucking law. I'm not going to pretend to, but I thought aggravated assault was like you had a pipe and you hit him once with it. With a gun, I thought even if it was justified, you get brought up on manslaughter charges. But again, I already said something, but I don't want to say anything because I know nothing about the fucking law. Like you said, the first thing that came to my mind, I feel like an insensitive dickhead, but first thing that came to my mind when I read that headline was, thank God he's not fighting Sam Solomon because I hated that fucking fight to begin with.
Well, I'm not sure if this is going to, let me see, we got another quote here. Let's just read it. Mr. Taylor's cousin and another individual came to his residence and there was some sort of altercation, Minden said, adding that the two who showed up at Taylor's home were unarmed. At some point, Mr. Taylor retrieved a handgun and fired several rounds. His cousin was struck multiple times. The cousin is alive and in serious condition at an area hospital. He has pretty serious injuries. The other person was not struck, but Mr. Taylor had fired several rounds and missed. Minden said that when police arrived at Taylor's residence, he was very cooperative with our investigators. He was very calm, and there were absolutely no difficulties. Minden said police were investigating what led to the shooting. The incident comes just 2 weeks after Taylor finalized the deal for an unsuspected world title shot with Sam Solomon of Australia. The fight is scheduled for ESPN boxing special on October 8th. No, they didn't announce that it's not off, but yeah, man, I hope that it is. Bottom fucking line. Let's move on.
Thank you.
Let me see. 3, 2, 1. You're live. Who's this?
Hey, what up, Ness? It's Jay Cotto. What's going on, baby?
What's going on, Jay Cotto? Before you continue, I just want to say I got a text, and I guess someone looked it up. Man, we got the most interactive listeners, man. You guys need to come to the chat. Don't forget to come to the chat. But where is that? He just sent me a text. Hold on. But basically, he said that domestic violence. Let me see. Here we go. Domestic violence falls under family violence, so it could be anyone in the family. So there you go. But you said, I mean, I said I'm a conspiracy theorist. I got to paint it like a movie. We can't make a movie out of that.
Yeah, man.
Caller, it's all open for you, baby. It's on you.
Yeah, no, I just want to go on that Manny Pacquiao Danny Garcia thing that's going around. First of all, I don't know, in that fight, I think Manny would definitely murder the kid, but I think it's too soon to talk about that because he's still got to get past Algieri.
Thank you. Yep, I agree completely.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you guys heard me say it, and I'm going to continue to say it. I'm not going to change my mind the way that I did with Ruslan when I was telling you guys that Algieri was going to beat Ruslan, and I'm not saying he's going to beat Pacquiao, but I'm picking him. I'm excited. He's so much bigger, taller, and he is, man. He's fucking power, man. It sort of looked like Rocky against Drago and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like crazy small. He was looking up at his chest and shit. And he's not Willie Nelson. He's not Willie Nelson or Paul Williams. He doesn't fight leaning forward, giving up his height. He fights well. He fights well on the back foot. He can initiate. He's an active puncher. Think about the fights with Taylor and other guys. Even with Ruslan, look how many punches he threw. This is going to be an exciting fight. I guarantee it'll be an exciting fight. And at the very end, Pacquiao finally gets another knockout, which he desperately needs.
Yeah, he does. He does, man. He definitely needs to show his power because it's there. You know what I'm saying? It's just he's become more defensive. After that JJM knockout, that's what it is. He's just got his mind on not getting knocked the fuck out again. But I don't think he's lacked anything. Now, let's just say if he gets past Algieri, right, decision, knockout, whatever, and Danny Garcia does happen to come up, but I got a feeling it's going to be Mayweather. That's another story. But let's just say, I think he's just going to kill Garcia. I don't think Garcia's ready for that, man, and I think his father should just talk to him.
Well, here's the thing. You might be right, Because remember, when he beat Matisse, there was talks of Mayweather, and Angel didn't want that. So I don't think, Angel's really big on keeping that that's what it looks like to me. So when you had the shot at Mayweather, you didn't take it. I don't know. Maybe you take the one with Pacquiao, because if you lose to Pacquiao, you're still okay. You're supposed to lose to him. But I don't know. I don't know.
It depends how he loses. I mean, if he loses by a fucking crushed fucking orbit, the eyeball orbit, it's a wrap for that kid, man. But I don't know, man. I just wish him the best, both of them. But me personally, man, I'm waiting for that Algieri fight. I got my money on Pac.
Okay. Well, make sure you call in to eat your crow as traditional here on this show. If he loses, because I know I'm gonna be in the minority in this, but 3, 2, 1, man. Thanks for calling in. Hey, James, I want to toss the ball in the direction of my man, Money May. I mean, listen, it's typical. We've seen it with 50 Cent. We've seen these type of things where guys get over, I don't know, beside themselves in the media. We could definitely talk a little bit of All Access because it's all Mayweather. First of all, you know that I'm a fan of All Access, so much so that I was heavily considering doing All Access Mayweather Maidana Episode 1 review. Do a show, us just talking about All Access, but I don't even know if I could. I'll leave that to our listeners to email us and let us know via Twitter and email, and of course Facebook. Hopefully before Monday or Tuesday, because those are the targeted dates. So when you download this, hurry up and let us know ASAP. But anyway, the point is, he's taken so much directive control. I mean, I feel like he is the director. There's a lot of things that stuck out to me. He really seems to have taken offense to the attacks by Floyd Mayweather, so much so that he took the show, which he is intended to promote his fight, to make 50 Cent relevant to maybe millions or thousands of people that doesn't know that they had this feud. Because let's be real, that's you and I that we're on fucking Twitter every day, but the average person isn't on Twitter every day, and the average person doesn't frequent boxing websites, so they didn't know about this news. Like, maybe TMZ picked it up, I don't even know, because I don't go there. But the point is, he chose to talk about the 50 thing, and I had a real problem. Like, look, again, I'm from the inner city, I love the pimp life. Before I got married, shit, I love the pimp life, but he's really playing these women out. Like, I'm not mad at him, because I'm not hating the player. But these broads is silly as hell. They're like right on television, allowing him to say and do what he wants, and basically say, I mean, that's the insinuation that I'm getting, that he's fucking them all. He's fucking them all. He's grabbing asses while he's doing yoga. And another one is saying, oh, I don't care. Like, he treats me right. I mean, on Instagram, on Instagram, he said Bad Medina been with him for 5 years. So he gave her a phantom, right? But in this episode, the girl which he claimed his love for on Instagram and gave her a fucking phantom isn't the same Puerto Rican Hernandez girl from last night's All Access that was on the couch and getting her booty grabbed in yoga. I mean, look, again, this is why I like this shit. I know that some of you don't, but I'm a reality TV junkie. I've said that before. Like, I've watched fucking, I'm forced to watch the Real Housewives with my wife, and I've watched those other shows. What's that other show where the girls always beat up on each other? They were in one house. They were all over the country. I forgot. Oh, Bad Girls. I even watched that. I love to see a good cat fight. I'm just a dude that loves assault. So I want to see it. I used to watch Jerry Springer as a kid, for God's sake. So this, while it turned me off in certain aspects, it definitely still entertained me. What do you think, James?
I think that Floyd Mayweather is like clockwork, man. Like, people like to talk about maybe like he has issue reading out loud, and people like to censorize or they like to talk about how he can't fucking read and shit like that, all that, whatever. But what I'm saying is Floyd Mayweather is smart because everything he does, I believe, is calculated. When he does things and he talks about 50 Cent, again, you're not on Twitter, boom, now you watch All Access, you know that him and 50 Cent have a beef currently right now. I think that him posting the Alex Ariza picture was calculated. Everything this man does is to promote his fight and his fight only. So everything I see on the show, I'm kind of feel like I'm watching a commercial. Yeah, you see him grabbing these girls' asses and blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. I love All Access. I love 24/7. I love all these documentary series only because I love watching shit about boxing. I'd rather see him training. I'd rather see him running mitts, even though it's the same shit day in and day out, and then watch him grab someone's ass in fucking hot yoga. I don't care that he could fucking eat McDonald's and all this other shit. It doesn't matter to me. But what I'm saying is that when you see things on All Access, keep in mind that Floyd Mayweather obviously has a say in this show. Everything is calculated. Everything. And the one thing that stood out to me last night was that he's not looking like he's been in shape. This is the most out of shape I think I've seen Floyd Mayweather in a long time. When he was doing that, he has love handles like I do.
You thought he was out of shape? Listen.
Fuck yeah, when he was doing yoga, I was like sitting there like, oh man, I could pinch my love handles like that motherfucker could pinch his.
I don't know. Again, we go back to the beginning of the show in the first half hour where we scrutinize these guys because we're able to see them this much. I mean, listen, he's a fighter. He's not going to always be at fighting weight. They're entitled to weigh a couple of pounds more. And we both know that whatever love handles you did see isn't going to be any effect. We know that this guy is the hardest working. We can't take that away from him. He's one of the hardest working people out there. And again, I don't have a problem. I don't want people thinking that I think he's a womanizer or anything. I don't have a fucking problem with that. Like, you know, look, I've done my dirt, but I'm just saying the girls. I can't believe the girls have no morals. Like, what the fuck, man? I would hook off on my sister if that was her.
I really don't give a fuck about them. I'd rather watch a half hour of him training, hitting the fucking heavy bag. They said he hit 45 minutes on that one heavy bag. I'd rather watch him 45 minutes on that heavy bag than any of that shit. I get that he has a lot of money. I get that he's got girls throwing themselves at him at all fucking angles. He even mentioned it. He's like, people that hate me are haters. I'm not hating on the fact that you got money. I'm not hating on the fact that you got women. I get that you got them. I just don't give a fuck to see them. I don't watch these shows to see how you live and how all these bad bitches that you bang. If I was going to do that, I would watch World Star Hip Hop. I would do other things like that, whatever the fuck ever. I'd rather see you train. I want to see how you're preparing for Marcos Maidana, because what I saw in that was him preparing for Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was just going about business as usual, which 9 times out of 10, obviously, that's exactly what he should do. But I'm not in the boat where everyone thinks that Floyd Mayweather is going to blow him out because he, quote-unquote, figured out Marcos Maidana. I don't think you could figure out that type of pressure. I think you're going to see something similar that you saw in the first fight. First 4 rounds are going to be extremely difficult for Mayweather, and he's going to stay the fuck away from him. I love seeing fighters train. I love seeing fighters go through the routines. I love their personal life when it's relevant. Like, you know, I can connect when Marcos Maidana's kid was crying because he was leaving. I get all that, I promise you. But if I had to pick between training and watching these girls get their ass slapped in hot yoga and him eating a fucking big whack, I don't give a fucking shit. I'd rather see him train. But I enjoyed it last night. I laughed when he gave that stupid, weird fucking sex present to his friend. I enjoyed it. I'll continue to enjoy it. I'll continue to watch. Maybe that's my fault, but I don't care about these girls, man. Whatever.
Well, let's talk about something, Floyd Mayweather, a little bit more positive and also controversial. We don't know what it means. It could be just fucking promoting his app that he's affiliated with, which is Shots. And I know, you know, subliminally I just gave him a shout out. But again, I'm doing my job to inform our listeners that don't have the time to scour the internet for every bit of Floyd Mayweather gossip. So he posted a picture on Shots with Alex Ariza stretching him before his run. His caption is, Alex Ariza stretching me before my run. So for anyone that may not know Alex Ariza and you're a casual fan and you just started listening to this show, Alex Ariza was the guy who was Manny Pacquiao's strength and conditioning coach for many fights when Manny was looking very good. Alex Ariza has always been basically scrutinized under a black cloud because he's given what did he do exactly, James? Because I don't want to give out any false information, but I know that anytime you mention Ariza or Heredia and Victor Conti, people think PEDs. Now, what exactly did he get caught for, if anything?
Alex Ariza, it was like, I mean, Brandon Rios is even denying the fact that it happened, but I guess, like, you know, you could say that he gave Brandon Rios something. I don't know. All this shit.
Well, I wasn't talking about the Brandon Rios situation. I mean, a lot way before. When he was with Pacquiao, there was always...
Oh, the shakes?
The milkshakes. But doesn't it stem from something? Hasn't he failed, you know, like his fight, you know, his athletes failed tests before, maybe in another sport or something? Anyway, maybe one of our callers can help us with that. 646
Rios failed, that's it.
3068. Yeah, but the problem with the Rios thing was they blamed it on Jack 3D, and I know from firsthand experience when I used to work out really heavy, Jack 3D comes up as amphetamines in your system, and I believe methamphetamines, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I wish Beeb was here that where he can check, but I believe that's what Brandon Rios tested positive for was methamphetamines, and he alluded to the fact that it was because of Jack 3D.
I think he got. I guess if Beeb comes on and some caller comes at me or whatever like that, I thought Brandon Rios tested positive for a diuretic, which he was blaming was in the Jack 3D.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jack 3D is a diuretic. What it does, it raises the body temperature. Like when I used to use that shit, it makes you sweat because
it's a thermogenic. It's called thermogenics, I believe.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get to some callers here. We got some more alumni on the line. Don't like to make them wait. And this is everybody's favorite caller anyway. Where is his intro? I don't know.
It's Baltimore, gentlemen. The gods will not save you.
Negative.
Oh,
just
shit.
Calling from Charm City, though, but I appreciate it.
Yo, if it was Wood, I was going to give my pack Algieri. Wood thinks that Algieri. I love Algieri.
He's from Baltimore, too, so it fits, man. My bad, Charm City.
No doubt. Yeah, I just wanted, first of all, I just wanted to address something that was said last week when I mentioned B-Hot resume real quick. I mentioned James Toney, and we were speaking on, someone mentioned Hopkins mandatory, how he always fight mandatory or whatever, but I was just saying you can throw shade on the fact that he didn't fight every top fighter throughout, you know, every era that he was in, or every division that he was in, I should say. Middleweight, super middleweight, and light heavyweight, he doing his thing. Because, like I said, I believe he wanted to finish strong because of the setbacks that he took in his career or whatever. But I never said that James Toney was a mandatory to the Bieberpedia. You know, he mentioned that. But anyway, moving forward, right? I don't like the fact that Floyd Mayweather is using Alex Ariza. You know, I thought it made him a hypocrite. The verdict is still out on that. I'm not sure, but I think it just could be maybe he's playing head games or something like that. I don't know what he's trying to do, but I agree with James. He does seem a little. He's in better shape than me, I can tell you that. But he doesn't seem like quite himself. But with all these beautiful bitches around, man, I mean, it's kind of hard not to be influenced by that. You got over 20, 30 women around you all the time. You know, you get what I'm saying? You got stories about world wisest man, weakness was a woman, world strongest man, weakness was a woman. I mean, it's kind of hard not to be influenced by that and stay focused on your training. I mean, I'm really not sure if we're going to see the best Floyd this month. What do y'all think about that?
Well, I'll tell you this. As far as the Ariza thing, you're right. We don't know what it means, and then I believe I'm like you. I believe it's mind games. It's just to start controversy, get his name in the media, have all the bloggers and the websites writing about him. It's promotion. We don't know if he's going to use Ariza, but if he does, you're right. He has to be held to some sort of standard. We have to criticize him because wasn't that one of the many key points that he would bring up with Pacquiao? But as far as him not being the best, I agree with you, but I'm not gonna mind if he loses because upsets are better for boxing. Like, the third fight would be the biggest fight in the world. If he lost, that would be huge in itself, but the rematch would be bigger than Pacquiao Mayweather because it's over. Like, that luster is gone, and the new man on the block is Marcos Maidana. But Charm City, I'm gonna get to some other callers, and before I do that, James, you want to rebuttal? I think he was talking to you. Let me bring him back on because Charm City, weren't you talking that James said something about B-Hop?
No, the Beaverpedia.
Oh, the Beaverpedia. Man, I don't know. He dipped off for a while. He might be eating, man. Beeb, he's an older man, but the dude's got a body of one of these fighters, so he's got to eat 6 times a day.
What he was saying was right. Hopkins he never avoided a mandatory, but I never called James Toney a mandatory. I was just saying that he was somebody that Hopkins avoided because James Toney was calling him out for years.
Yeah, I mean,
hello?
Yeah. No. We would have to leave that for Beeb, and he, like I said, he went to eat because that's his argument.
Okay, and I just want to say one more thing. I'm picking Chris Algieri.
So am I. And two, darkest timeline at KFZ100. No, at KFZ001. No, it doesn't mean that if he wins, he picked him, but if he loses, he never said he could beat Pac and threw shit and giggles and picks. No, I'm picking Algieri, win or fucking lose. I'm just telling you, I'm not influencing you to pick Algieri with me thinking that Algieri could win. I'm going with him, win or lose. I think he can do it. I'm just not saying, I'm not 100% confident where I'm like, yeah, Algieri's going to win. But that's who I'm picking. I'm picking Algieri. I mean, a pick's a pick. You got to eat your crow regardless. I can't say, oh, I picked him, but I told you that I wasn't sure if he was going to win. No, I fucking picked him. But anyway, James, the Ariza thing, I don't know if you gave your take on that. I mean, what do you think? Like I told the caller, and I'm just going to reiterate it in case you didn't listen, I feel that it's just to get his name out there. Keep it hot, keep us talking about him, keep the bloggers and the websites circulating traffic.
Yeah, like I said, man, everything that Mayweather puts out is calculated. This works on many different levels with mind games because, like, let's say hypothetically speaking that the Garcia camp, and I'm not accusing anyone, if Garcia camp knows that Ariza is doing some shady fucking shit, maybe they turn a blind eye, they can assume that Mayweather's doing the same shit because he's obviously not going to test positive like Maidana didn't. I also think it could be that we got someone from your camp that sees how you train. We know how you're going to work out. I got the same guy that you did, blah, 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 whatever. I think it's all calculated. I think it's mind games, and I think that's it, man. I don't ever get stuck on these Mayweather shit because it's all calculated. It's all for publicity. It's anything you could do to get his name in the headlines. It's every time there's a Mayweather fight, there's something fucking going on. Last time it was his abortion and shit like that. I don't think it's coincidence. We shouldn't be. If you guys are thinking that this is like some shit that is just coming out of nowhere, I mean, you got to watch boxing more. Everything that Mayweather does is always pre-build up for his fight. Again, this is a soap opera. Mayweather promotes his soap opera. That is his fight.
I'm going to officially have to offer Nelta a job because Nelta making me look good again, saying that Rio's coming live on our Twitter feed at The Boxing Voice, THA, of course, at The Boxing Voice. Nelta says that Rio's tested positive for methamphetamines, a banned stimulant, basically something like speed that is in OTC supplements. So Boxingpedia strikes again here in Nelta. All right, so there's still a shitload of news that we could talk about. We talked Taylor. James, I don't think you were on when we were talking Lomachenko and his mandatory title defense. So I'd like to get your takes because, again, boxing is going to be slim coming up in the month of October. So whatever little bit of news we got to discuss.
I don't know much about his opponent. I'm not even going to lie. I never even heard of his opponent. Know nothing about him. I'm going to have to box rec him later, but I like Lomachenko as a fighter. If he's taking his mandatory, right now it sucks, but eventually that mandatory will be someone that we want. And the only thing I can say is I hope he continues the trend. I mean, it's just that simple.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I mean, mandatory is mandatory. It's gonna happen in Macau on the Pacquiao undercard anyway. So whatever. These type of fights, that's where they need to be, where the promoter pays for it himself, not the network. I believe that's how it works anyway. But great news for fight fans. During Saturday's broadcast of the Antonio DeMarco Leonard Tyner fight on Bell's. I don't even know how. I never heard of this network, but it looks like BE, either LN or IN Sports.
It's IN. I think it's BN.
Okay, bien. Okay, that sounds about right in Spanish. But I wouldn't understand why they capitalized the I and the N and not the B and the E. So whatever. So it could be BN or it could be bien because it's Spanish. Spanish means okay and right. So announced it. It would televise notable fights from Mexico for the next 4 consecutive Saturdays at 11 Eastern, including the much-anticipated fight between unified flyweight title holder Juan Francisco Estrada against former junior flyweight champion Giovanni Segura, which is the fight that you want everyone to see. So I wanted to touch on that, let them know what time it would start, and I know that we spoke about the network a little earlier, but give you a little more information. Also, junior welterweight Pablo Cesar Cano is due to face Juan Pablo Lopez in Cancun, Mexico, Saturday night on Golden Boy Live, main event Fox Deportes. So I like Cano. I like to see him get back in the mix in that division with some of the lower end 147 pounders, and you know, I think it's a good look.
I'm not going to pretend, man. I don't even fucking give a shit about Cano, man. That dude always disappoints me. He's exciting. He's exciting, but he's not exciting enough for me to be like, I want to see him in there with Pablo Cesar Cano. I don't even think he's on a Carras level, bro, because Carras is the first name that comes to mind. Like, you get him in there, whatever. But we had a drought this weekend. I didn't think this weekend was that good of fights. But next weekend, you could shit on the Adrian Broner fight. I'm going to say I still think that Taylor is going to be issues for Broner. I still think that the Lucas Batiste, I like all the fights that he's typically in. Berto always puts, like, for at least the last 5 years, 4 years, that Berto has always been in a good, entertaining fight. He's like Amir Khan, but Americanized. Not to mention that Francisco or Estrada versus Segura is a great fight. I think Martinez versus Frampton's going to be a good fight. I can't wait for next Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday is going to be rough for me because I'm going to be at the Broner-Taylor fight covering that live, so I'm not going to get to watch a lot of this stuff, and I'm trooping it over there, fellas. So it's going to be a 10-hour drive for me and Jersey Sav. So you can imagine how that road trip's going to be. We're going to have a fucking hell of a time. We might even...
I'm not going to be on Thursday, but I know you're probably picking Broner because he's obviously he's the favorite in this fight. But, I mean, everyone's talking about Taylor getting blown out. But, I mean, he boxes. He's taller than Broner. To me, this spells issues for Broner because Broner has proven that if you're a good boxer, a la Polo Malignaggi, you can have your way with him. And I think this is going to be a lot tougher than a lot of people think.
Well, the problem for me is that he shut down in the Algieri fight, but again, Algieri was like a machine gun.
Yeah, you're picking Algieri over Pacquiao, so that says a lot of shit about what you think about Algieri.
Listen to me. The problem is he shut down in the Algieri fight, but Algieri is a machine gun. He's shooting out multiple rounds. Broner's a fucking revolver. He's only got 8 shots, 6 shots.
He's a shotgun. He's a shotgun. He boom, one punch at a time. That's all it is.
He doesn't have shotgun power. His power, ever since DeMarco, he's lost power in my. I'm like, not that he's lost it because I don't think you can lose it, but as he stepped up, he hasn't been able to knock guys out. And Emmanuel Taylor took shots from Mayfield. So in my opinion, I'm smelling an upset special here.
Yo, I'm afraid that they've robbed Taylor, man. That's the one thing I'm kind of on the fence right now. So I guess I'll make it on Twitter my official prediction, but I think this is a close fight, man. I'm not high on Broner. So.
It most certainly is. And just to continue on your same topic, you mentioned, Andre Berto. And Andre Berto's going to be on this card. And I'm very upset in Andre Berto, but I understand. And I said that very slow so that you guys don't attack. He's had a tough schedule, you know. Ever since Ortiz, he's had a tough schedule. And Stephen Upshur Chambers, it may not be even a C+ fighter, but you know.
Would you say Karras is a C fighter?
Karras is definitely a C+, maybe B-. And I know people are gonna call in on future shows and say, "Oh, but you said Karras is a bum, and then you say he's B-." But we got to think about Karras moving forward and turning it around. I know a lot of guys don't think highly of A. Dean, but I think that the A. Dean win and a Berto win and being, you know, a little bit competitive with Keith Thurman, at least a C+ maybe. But Upshaw, if you make Karras a C anything, then Upshaw isn't any of that, because he's never beat a world-class fighter. He's never beat a top-tier fighter. Because, you know, I know that people hang on words literal, so whatever you want to mention, the guys that usually fight, name names, okay? He's never beat that from what I remember anyway.
Yeah, and I don't like to give the C+, C- because I think that's too many variables for me to think about, too much, I guess, options. I give A, B, C, D, all that. I just give it straight up. If I had to guess, Karras to me is a C fighter, and this dude he's fighting, Upshaw, is a D, because he just got knocked out by a C fighter. Give him his break, man. Let him get his feet back under him. I don't hate Berto like everyone for some reason do, because he got so much overhyped, blah, 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 whatever. It's like Conor to me, man. Conor will always be an exciting fight. Victor Ortiz, fuck him. He's in an exciting fight all the time. Berto will be an exciting fight. If he blows this dude out, whatever, we know he's going to step forward. Even if he walks back in with a C fighter, he's going to have issues with it. I don't hate this fight either.
Well, let's take it out to the streets. 856, you're live. Who's this?
Yo, what up? It's Chris from Jersey.
Chris, what's going on, brother? I'm glad you found time to call in, man. You starting to call more frequently. You must have talked to the wife, told her she got to watch the kids when the Boxing Voice is on, huh?
You hear him? Yeah, I'm not straight up. You're on speakerphone now, fam. I'm just coming back from the shore right now. So I got a call after. Hold on, let me take you off speaker. After Jalen Love was like, get it on the floor, get it on the floor. This nigga was twerking, yo. But that shit was great, man. I mean, I'm glad he's safe and all. You know what I mean? First of all, you know, he was okay, he's healthy and everything, but that shit was funny, man. Floyd got to keep this dude off TV. I don't know if Floyd's just that loyal. They that good of friends. This nigga got dirt on Floyd. They're gay lovers. I don't know, but I don't see the talent he sees. But that shit was funny. That was funny. It topped off a terrible card. Don't nobody want to watch them TMT dudes fight. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm over here messing with my kids, but I'm picking Chris Algieri too. I just think he's tall. I think he got the style. You know, you always hear the cliche styles make fights. I think it's one that really does. He got a good enough jab, enough action, enough movement. And I think as great as Manny Pacquiao is, I don't want to take anything from him because he's an all-time great. And if you say different, I think you're just a jackass. But he fought a lot of guys that were matched stylistically for him. And if you look at the guys he's fought going back, besides Juan Manuel Marquez, obviously Morales could box, Barrera could box, but for the most part, none of them are really technically sound guys. You know, Cotto's very easy to hit, so you know some people would say, you know, Cotto would be technically sound, but and there were some things there with his weight. And not having a trainer, I don't want to make no excuses for him, but there were some things that were lined up for that fight that just worked very well for Manny, just like the Oscar fight. But I think he's been managed well against the opposition, even though he's fought some tough dudes. You know what I mean? You can't say nothing about Timothy Bradley. So I just think the styles make fights, and I'm picking him. You know what I mean? I'm not waiting till that night. I'm picking him, and I think he's going to win. You know, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know, call in and eat my crow. My man from Baltimore, I want to defend B because my man from Baltimore ain't no way you could slice it last week. He said that Bernard was ducking him. He might not have said he was the mandatory, and he might not have said he didn't avoid the mandatory, but he made it sound like Bernard Hopkins was running away from James Toney. And you know, I don't know. I would have to see some kind of evidence, as people like to say, the empirical evidence, some kind of facts, some kind of, I know it's pretty tough. And you have to go to YouTube, or I don't know what you will find, but I don't remember Bernard Hopkins ducking anybody. And even when he fought Roy Jones, as good as Roy Jones was at that time, and as raw as Bernard was at that time, it ain't like Roy Jones beat the shit out of Bernard. It was an ugly fight where both men, you know, barely got hit, and you could just see that Roy Jones was just a better fighter at that time. So, you know, Bernard had, you know, shots of greatness then, you know. So, you know, maybe I'm biased, you know what I'm saying? I'm right down here in Jersey. I'm right outside of Camden, right outside of Philly. But, you know, I just had to say that because he called in kind of like defending himself on why he never said he was the mandatory and that Bernard never ducked him. You know, that's how it came off, you know. But that's pretty much it, man. I just want to holler, you know how I do. Hey,
Chris,
man.
Let me ask you something.
I'll make it short and sweet. What's up?
You're not going to the Broner fight?
I like to, man. I like to, but I got to pick them in spots, man. If they really ain't at AC, you know, what's it, DC or in Brooklyn?
Cincy.
This one is far. This is in Cincinnati. This is hometown.
Oh no, this all the way in Cincinnati. Oh hell no, no way. My trips like that is for Disney, and that shit is in Brooklyn, AC. You know, it is. I can't spend that kind of bread, man. I don't go to the fights, but you know, Kovalev make it real easy. You know what I mean? You can do all these fights in AC. I'll go to DC too.
So you're gonna be at the B-Hop one then, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to B-Hop. The tickets going to sell when, the 5th?
I believe so. You can check the site. We definitely put it out already. Just
yeah. I'm definitely going to that. No doubt. Ain't no doubt. Right here in my backyard. It's 45 minutes away. But yo, I know y'all busy and shit. But James, yo, I need you on here, dog. Like, man, you do. You know what I mean? Y'all. I need the whole crew. I need everybody on there, man.
Yo, get at him. Get at him, Chris. Get at them, yo. They stay leaving me alone.
I know how it is, dog. I'm working when I'm listening to the show. You know what I mean? But you know, when the whole crew is together, it is what it is, man. I take y'all when y'all get on, but when I got B, when I got Vic, when I got James, when I got Robbie, when I got Ness, it's popping. You know what I mean? It's always popping, but you know what I'm saying. But
yo, Chris, before you let off real quick, you brought up Kovalev B-Hop. I'm going on record right now. I'm calling B-Hop to get the upset in that shit. Who you got?
You calling who?
B-Hop. I'm going with Bernard, bro. I don't think Kovalev's got the boxing to outbox Hopkins.
I'll go even further and have people come on here and kill me, so I eat my crow hard then. I'm gonna say B-Hop. I'm gonna say B-Hop and not a very difficult fight.
I don't know about that. B-Hop. I don't know. Go ahead.
Listen, in my opinion, B-Hop, I mean, and again, I've taken nothing from him because I say he never ducked nobody, but he's a smart guy. He went over there to fight Kovalev because I think in his mind, Kovalev is the easier fight than Stevenson. And in his head, if he beats Kovalev, Stevenson's still there. What, he can't fight him? They ain't going to fight if he beats Kovalev? Come on, man. So, and traditionally, right or wrong, what kind of style boxers has B-Hop had trouble with?
Boxers.
The Kovalevs or the Stevensons?
Stevensons, because he boxes more than Kovalev does.
He boxes more than Kovalev does. I mean, a prime, you know, at best time of his life. What's the kid from Connecticut?
Dawson.
Chad Dawson. Yeah, I mean, a prime, you know, best shape of his life. Chad Dawson beat him. He would have beat him twice. You know what I mean? Straight up. And I'm a B-Hop fan. You know what I'm saying? Hardcore. Again, he's that guy where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Just as Danny is that guy where we're at. But that last fight pissed me off a little bit. But that is what it is. Put that behind us. Go forward. So, you know, Jermaine Taylor. And even though you can argue if Jermaine Taylor really won those fights. I think he won the first one, lost the second one, or the first one could even went either way for me too. But same thing, and not that he was the best boxer ever, but he was very, very young, very, very strong. That was the best Jermaine Taylor you ever saw. So, and there was some other guys, obviously Roy Jones. But I'm telling you, man, I just see that. I've seen power from Kovalev, and for me, man, a million times a day, all the time. I mean, just like with the whole Manny Floyd fight. To me, man, the skilled boxer, man, the guy that does the little things, the guy that has the best conditioning, the guy that's the better technical fighter is going to win every fucking time. I'm just sorry. I mean, unless he wasn't prepared right, you know, I know Kovalev can punch, and with that, he can win at any point. But if I'm just going by what I've seen in boxing, man, I just think Bernard knows how to move around that ring, man, and not let this guy hit him. I just do. You know, so that's my pick now. So that's two big ones that I can eat crow on. Remember, y'all got me on tape, Algieri, and B-Hop. So you know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, all right, Chris, man, thanks for calling in. Glad you found the time, brother, and we'll be seeing you at B-Hop Kovalev for sure, man. Keep it. Let me see, keeping it going here. 508, you're live. Who's this?
This is Georgie Porgy from Worcester, Mass.
Georgie Porgy, I'm glad you would see. I'm glad. No. I know that you're glad to see Porky knock out Love last night.
Yeah, I seen that though. But then again, that's the guy who beat the dude. So that really don't mean nothing. That J-Lo was overrated. Everybody knows that. I mean, what's the surprise there? No surprise.
That is true.
You know, so I mean, everybody making fun of the dude. It seems like everybody who signed with Mayweather or is training out of that camp get exposed to something happened to them. You know, it's like the people just hated so much of Mayweather. Whoever goes there to represent the gym, he gets some people mad because as soon as they lost, he got exposed or something like that, you know? So I think that's insignificant. What's really going to shock the world if it's Algieri beat Manny Pacquiao, because a lot of people heard he is just picking him to win. I don't even know why. And somebody's playing to me why?
Well, I'll answer that because I'm one of the guys picking him. I think that his movement is going to cause problems, plus the fact that he's really disciplined when it comes to shooting the jab. He could fight on the back foot. He's taller. When he fought De La Hoya was bigger, but he was not the same person. De La Hoya couldn't keep the energy going because he struggled so much to make weight. He's giving Algieri a catch weight, allowing Algieri rather to come in a little bit heavier than what he's used to because he's a champion at 140. But this fight, I believe, is at 144, and Algieri is a nutrition specialist. So I think that, and when you see the pictures, they're already out there. We were at the press conference in San Francisco. You can see them side by side. He's a much, much bigger man, and he's also an athlete. I'm buying the hype. I'm buying into the hype that he's selling, that he's an athlete, and these other people were just boxers. And the only reason that to me sticks out, where normally we would say, oh, well, he's not a fighter because he was doing this for a bunch of years, is because of all the training that his legs did. So if your legs could hold you up, I don't know, man. He's going to be throwing back punches at Pacquiao, and Pacquiao gets hit. He gets hit. And if this kid's reach...
These dude ain't got that power. You talking like this dude got some power behind him that he can hurt somebody. Who has he even hurt? I see a couple.
But you don't have to, caller. You don't have to hurt anyone. He didn't have to hurt.
He's gonna keep it at bay with that bullshit jab. You think he's gonna keep Pacquiao at bay?
Listen.
Anytime, I mean, you guys fucking throwing Pacquiao to the ground. When Pacquiao knocked this cat in 3 rounds or less, I don't want to hear no bullshit. I'm gonna be the first one calling.
Okay.
Because you guys, I don't even know what you guys talking about here. The dude's tall, he got a jab. Like, yo, he got clogged. When this dude clogged him, the Russian guy clogged him, he took a win, but it was such a close win, they could go either way. And all of a sudden, the nigga fighting for this other title and this and that. Come on, man. He going to get his ass whipped. Anybody who picking him up, I don't know what the fuck you seeing on the guy, but, hey, it is what it is. Oh, by the way, Hopkins, I don't know, if Hopkins can pull this shit out, oh, man, that would be the greatest shit ever on boxing, though. At his age, that would be crazy. That's my 5 cents in the whole thing, though.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for calling in, and be sure to call in to eat your crow if we're right, and be sure to call in to have us eat, well, have me eat my crow, because Beeb hasn't made an official pick. I'm sure it's too early. 516, you're live. Who's this?
It's KH, man. What's up, Kevin Horn?
Kevin Horn, what it do?
What's up, man? How'd you like that all access, man? Enough fat asses and cars for you?
I did enjoy it, but I'm kind of trying to stay away from the topic because I put it out there, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to put it out there again. I want to, ask our listeners if they would like us to review a Mayweather Maidana All Access Episode 1 and continue to do a podcast on each episode until the fight.
Like a recap?
Yeah, like a recap, just on that. Take callers, just talking about that, and I want to see if that's something you guys want. And I'm thinking of doing it maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, so it depends on the feedback that we get via email, Twitter, and Facebook. But I did enjoy it. I really like the insertion of this new Hernandez girl. I'm Dominican, so I'm into Spanish women. She was on that couch looking scrumptious, and I was next to my wife, and we both thought that, she was pretty. We just didn't understand that these women just don't care. Like, they don't care. Like he said, Beeb, got a lot of background noise, Beeb. They just don't care. But anyway, yeah, that's the thing, KH. So if you could be so kind as to talk about something else, like maybe Glenn Tapia. Yeah. He's going to be in AC, and he's back in action, and he's going to be fighting Dantes Bandeveras. Not the best name, but remember, he did get his ass kicked versus James Kirkland, so he's got to rebuild. In his last fight, he won it by knockout.
Tapia got those blood tests out of the way. I know they didn't commission him in New York. I know he worked with my boy Shawnee and stuff, so I'm a fan of the guy. I'm rooting for him and all that. But I know he had that little issue where the commission didn't sanction him to fight or whatever in New York. But I guess he's good to go in Jersey or something.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. But Tapia was scheduled to fight. You're talking about this. Tapia was scheduled to fight July 26th in New York on the Gennady Golovkin Daniel Gill undercard, but was denied a license by New York State Athletic Commission the day before the fight because of an issue over a pre-existing blood condition, one which he has fought with for his entire career. Tapia's licensed already in New Jersey. He fought there in June. Bandeveras participated in ESPN's Buxino middleweight tournament, losing a 6-round decision to Willie Monroe Jr. in the quarterfinals in February. So at least you've seen his opponent before, and you can gauge the opponent when he does face Tapia, and we can see where is Tapia on his climb back to contender status.
No doubt. I wanted to touch, though, on what's up with your Mayweather and Ariza and stuff, and if anybody's thinking Mayweather's getting a little uptight, trying to resort to some more mind games and stuff because he's seeing nothing's rattling the whole Maidana camp over there.
Well, that's exactly what I think it is. I agree with you 100%, and I've said that about 3 times already when people call in that I think it's just mind games. I think it's tactical. I think it's just to stir controversy and keep his name out in the media, continue to build the fight, get the bloggers and the websites going. We definitely did an article on it. It's news. We try to give you guys everything possible. So if Mayweather farts, we're writing about it.
Yeah, I don't see nothing getting to the Maidana team. That's the one thing I'm pulling away is they seem like they cool and fan on this one. They just sitting in the cut they gonna do their work, where Floyd kind of over the top with everything, and it seems almost like Floyd's the one with something to prove and not Maidana and stuff. And that, I don't know, I've never really seen Floyd this way. He seems a little insecure to me, and it's something TBE. I don't know. I don't know.
I agree with you again. I really feel that in this fight, Maidana's tested the power. He's tested the waters. There's no fear. Where in the first fight there was no fear, but there was the unknown. And now this time around, there's no respect. But Kenny Bayless is going to be that mitigating factor in this fight. He wasn't brought in for any which reason, but for a specific one, and we'll see how it plays out September 13th. But I don't know if Maidana's going to be able to get away with what he did in the first fight, simply because it has been brought up throughout post-fight press conferences, now All Access. he's not going to stop mentioning it so that Kenny Bellis eventually has to referee the fight the way that Jack Hurst did in the Durrell versus Bika, because he's already going in with a predetermined notion that something is going to happen. So he's going to try to interject himself into that situation and keep it under control. But it's probably going to make for a bad fight for us.
Yeah, if you recall back in the day, Phil Jackson was noted for that, putting stuff out in the press, like when the Bulls played the Knicks. So this way the refs already were tipped off, and next thing you know, they're calling 30-something fouls in the first half of games, and it's like, come on, man, these weren't being called until Phil Jackson went in the press, you know? It's crazy. But I don't know, is Kenny Bayless really known for being that type of guy that's quick to break people, he's quick to penalize, he's quick to do all that? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I don't see how that's going to play out. Like, I was talking about that with the Coalition boys, and, like, I don't know. There's certain fights where he was strict, other fights where he wasn't as involved. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But, keep me up to date if you're going to do them all access follow-ups and all that. And I know you got a bunch of callers, man.
All right, brother. KH, man, thanks for calling in. Beeb, you weren't on when we were talking to Ariza. What do you think? I know I believe it was either you or Julio that wrote a story on it. What's your thoughts? I mean, Ariza, is this mind games, or did Mayweather really contract Ariza to work as a strength and conditioning coach?
I think it's more or less when he invited what did he do? He invited he invited Brandon Rios and Robert Garcia to the fight when he was getting ready to fight Victor Ortiz. And this is basically a similar move, in my opinion. So, he took a picture with Ariza doing that to try to just plant that controversy out there for the media. But Floyd's pretty much been doing things his own way. I don't think he's going to change his camp around on the turn of a dime at this stage of his career. Being as successful as he's been. So I think it's just mind games.
All right. Well, 775. This might be my boy Antonio from VA. Am I right?
Yeah, man. What's up, bro?
What's going on, brother? It's been a minute, man.
Yeah, man. I'm listening to every episode, man. I'm listening. I'm waiting for some topic to make me want to call in. I like the B-Hop topic, man. I'm on the fence with this one because the last fight, B-Hop body finally started to show that old age. Like, he looked like he was in shape, but he had that old man body. I mean, if this was a 37, 38, 39, 40-year-old B-Hop, he'll beat the guy easy. But, at this advanced age, he's taking more hits. It could go either way. At this age, B-Hop's still a better boxer to me than Kovalev. He very, he don't have no footwork. He's all power guys. Those type of guys like him and Floyd feast off of. But like I said, he's looking older than me. I mean, he's 49 going on 50, man. He's looking older. It could go either way. I do think B-Hop is cherry picking this fight. He could have made the Stevenson fight, but he don't want the Stevenson fight. I disagree with people. They saying he has a problem with boxers. I don't think B-Hop has a problem with boxers. I think B-Hop a great boxer. I think he has problems with athletic punchers like Roy Jones the first time. Jermaine Taylor's not a great boxer. He's an athletic puncher. When you back Jermaine Taylor up, he fires back with firepower, and B-Hop had a problem with that in the first fight and a little bit in the second fight. Although I thought B-Hop won the second fight, I thought he waited too long and he ended up losing the first fight on my scorecard. And then he lost to Chad Dawson twice, and also he didn't fight Roy Jones when Roy Jones was still undefeated. Well, other than the disqualification loss, when him and Roy Jones was trying to do the rematch, he wanted a 50-50 split, and that was a little absurd. He didn't really want that fight. So, he does have a thing where he didn't want that fight, if you ask me, in my opinion. Floyd and the Ariza thing, I think Floyd just brought Ariza in with it last week. So to me, that's all just for the show. That's for the TV show to make a good episode, some drama. That's all that is. I agree with B. He ain't about to change his routine up. I guess the yoga thing, because he feel like he need to be more flexible. I guess you wake up in the morning, you don't feel as good as you used to. And what else you had? Yeah, and I want to say this. I said I drew was gonna win, and part of the reasons with some of the things you were saying, that's the guy don't give up his height. That's one thing I'm very big on. If you got the advantage of height, you don't give it up, you're gonna be tough. Klitschko brothers. They don't give they height. They keep their jab out there. And I think Algieri, man, I just got a feeling he's just gonna outbox Pacquiao. I think it's gonna it's gonna be difficult for Pacquiao to get inside because the guy don't give up his height. And on my scorecard, I didn't have it no close fight. I had it 9 rounds to 3 for Algieri over Ruslan. In the first round, he got with 2 knockdowns. You know, other than that, I thought it was pretty much a washout fight. I think Algieri gonna beat Pacquiao. It ain't got nothing to go against Pacquiao. It's just that you're dealing with a guy who's way taller, don't give up his height, who's very athletic, and, you know, also a great boxer. That's a tough matchup. Only downfall he don't got no power, but I don't think Pacquiao, I think Pacquiao's size is going to be a disadvantage in him landing his power shots. What you think about that?
Well,
go ahead, babe.
Anyone who likes anyone who likes Algieri, they should bet him because he's a plus 800 right now at the odds. And if you want to check out the odds, go to the Boxing Voice app because we have the odds now on our app, so people can check out boxing odds. So, you know, I think it's a very interesting fight. I would favor Pacquiao, but I'm going to bet on Algieri. I think Algieri definitely has a shot to win the fight. I think, you know, people are forgetting something about Pacquiao. And he looked very good in his last fight against Bradley, but he's kind of reinvented himself as a fighter. He's trying to become more of a boxer now, and he's not really going in and trying to hurt guys anymore because he's concerned about himself getting hurt. He's fighting a little bit more cautiously. Although this guy isn't a big puncher, I don't think that Pacquiao's just going to throw all caution in the wind and try to bum rush this kid, and I don't think he'll be able to do that because the kid's quick on his feet. I don't think Pacquiao fights the same way that Provodnikov fights, so this could be an interesting fight, and Algieri could win this fight. It's not impossible. It's not a stretch to say that Algieri is going to win. Right now, I favor Pacquiao, but I'm going to bet on Algieri. I think he has a legitimate shot to win the fight.
Well, Antonio, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think Algieri might be stronger moving up in weight. And don't forget, I think he told you guys that he wanted to go to 147, and they told him, no, we'll stay at 144. I mean, it's funny stuff they be doing in boxing, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think he might even be stronger. And you're right, Pacquiao is doing a lot more boxing, and he ain't really going in for the knockouts.
He hasn't really stopped anyone at 147 since Cotto, and that fight, as I said several times, Cotto went the distance. The referee just decided to stop it. He beats guys on volume. He's not a guy that's going to hurt you with one punch. You know, Provodnikov's sort of like that type of guy too, but I would venture to say at this stage of their careers, I think Provodnikov's probably a little hotter puncher than Pacquiao, believe it or not. I know people will say I'm crazy, but I just think that Pacquiao at 147's really never knocked anyone out cold. Like, the only person I've ever seen him do that to is Hatton, and that was at 140. He's just a volume guy, and he was a volume guy, but now he's not really even that volume guy anymore. So for people to say that he's going to go in there and blitz Algieri, I think the fight goes the distance no matter what happens, in my opinion. Just like all the rest of Pacquiao's fights have been going the distance, and everyone keeps picking him to win fights by knockout, but he is just not that guy anymore. He's not that, and he hasn't really been that guy at 147. He has a very low knockout percentage at 147 or above. You know, he only has 2 stoppage victories at 147 or above, and again, they were stoppages. He was basically beat his opponent into submission. De La Hoya probably could have finished that fight on his feet, and so couldn't have Cotto, but they were just getting hit so many times that the referee decided to stop it, and I think De La Hoya's corner stopped it. So I just think it's going to be a very interesting fight.
Well, Lukey's on that side of town. You know, he was there for the San Francisco Giants game and the LA press conference and whatnot. And he said that Manny Pacquiao is going to be using Jose Ramirez as his #1 sparring partner, and also Stan Martynouk. I don't know. I'll spell it out. Martynouk. OUUK fans. But VA, let me get to some other callers. Thanks for calling in, brother. And then you know, you call in more frequently, man. And definitely use the power of social media to let us know should we do the All Access Mayweather review show. Let me see. 313, you're live. Who's this?
This was Sam from Detroit. Nice to man.
What's going on? My arch nemesis here, Wasan. Listen, so you know, officially, it seems like you kind of won, maybe. We don't know if he would be the A side. I'm gonna stick to him not being the A side versus Ward. Beeb, let you be the last take on this so that Wasan could come up with some new topics for today. But Ward Golovkin, if that fight happens next, who is the A side? No, actually, Wasan doesn't really care about A side. He is more interested in 50-50 purse split because Ward doesn't want to do.
That's not even.
Yeah, because you
that's not
said
even
Ward.
like what I was really interested. Yeah, my point was that I think Ward's managers are making a demand that they know will never happen. Even if it's a little out of the question. It's not preposterous for anybody to think. I'm fine with anybody saying Ward is the A side there. Like I said, they're very, very similar. But to say that 50-50 is a deal breaker and it will never happen, that's overvaluing your fighter. Clearly, in this case.
Well, I think it should be 60-40 for Ward, no question about it. And again, you made some excellent points the last show, Ness, about Golovkin's numbers. HBO is really pushing this kid, and he's not doing bad, but I don't think he's doing as good as people think he's doing, because those stadiums, not stadiums, excuse me, those venues that he's fighting at, they're basically the small rooms, and they don't have the confidence to put him in the big room yet because they don't feel he could sell it out. Now, you could say what you want about Ward, but he does do well in the Oracle Arena. There's no question about it, and he does do well on the ratings on HBO when he fights. He's not doing bad. Obviously, he's not a pay-per-view star, but he's still ahead of what Triple G is.
I'm sorry. Would you say 7,000 in a fight against Chad Dawson is better?
I don't think it was 7,000. I don't think it was 7,000 people.
Against Gil?
I don't think it was 7,000 people. Are you sure that's
200?
Are you 100% sure that's an accurate number?
Well, all the like I said, I researched it quite a bit. Maybe I am wrong, but
I think you're wrong on that because that arena holds about 18,000 people. So you mean to tell me that he filled up less than half of that? It didn't look like that when I was watching it. I just think.
And
when I think
Rodriguez, he didn't even do 4K. He did around 3,500.
I don't think that number is very accurate either. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know where you're getting these numbers, but that again,
multiple sources. The most he ever did was
I need to see the sources because that Oracle Arena is a very big arena. That is a very big arena.
Hold on, Jesus.
He's not letting me talk. He's just jumping in.
Neither one of you guys have let each other talk. You've talked consistently over one another. And you're realizing that you're both talking over each other and just continue to talk. No one even understands.
Well, all I'm gonna say is this. I hear the word sources being thrown around an awful lot, and a lot of times the sources is just something that you read off the internet. And I will say this, Dan Rafael, again, I'm going to name drop here, he's been going on a smear campaign about Andre Ward, and he's putting a lot of stuff out there that I'm not sure is 100% factually true. And Virgil Hunter has refuted a lot of things that have been said, and obviously he's going to because, that's his fighter, but he's refuting them, and he's coming up with data of his own that seems pretty plausible, and he's giving us evidence of what is right and what is not right, and he's making a good point, and he's explaining himself. Because again, that Oracle Arena can hold in a boxing bet, I would say about 17,000 to 18,000 people. So if you're sitting there telling me that Ward's filling up less than half of that, and I'm watching it on television, seeing it filled, I just have a hard time believing that. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's just my point.
That's fine. Like I told Ness, you can do your own research, and then we can exchange, God willing. That's what social media is for. But touching on just today's topics, I don't want to go too. We discussed it, very much last time. But in terms of Kovalev, Ronald Hopkins, I'm actually gonna go with. And before you say it, because he's Triple G's big brother or anything, it has nothing to do with that. Okay? I have a lot of respect for Bernard. And, he's one of the greatest of this generation, but I think his time is, a little past due. He didn't look too good in his last two fights against Morat and Shumanov. And for people saying, like I said, this is a personal pet peeve of mine, that people don't want to put in the effort to actually study a guy and to just because he's getting knockouts, they say, you know, he's just power, he can't box, this and that. That's ludicrous. You know, when you actually look at Kovalev, he has a good boxing foundation. Actually has a decent, very good actually amateur pedigree. He went multiple he won gold in world championships in Russian tournaments. He went 193 and 22 in his entire career. So that's a guy who can box. He just never had to show it before, and he does show it here and there. You know, just people get blinded by his power. But
What's on?
his power is, yeah.
Hold on, before you continue, I just want to say that's the same thing I thought about Broner. He had over 300 amateur fights, and I swore up and down that he'd be able to outbox Maidana. Doesn't necessarily mean that. I know that Maidana and Bernard Hopkins are two different people, but also Robbie has something. Go ahead, Robbie.
Hey, son, I live near where Andre Ward fights, okay? Right. And during the Chad Dawson fight, now HBO could have lied about this, but they said during that fight that he sold 10,000 tickets and they had over 12,000 in the arena. And that's the biggest attendance he's ever had in Oakland. For most of his Oakland fights, he averaged between 8,000 and 9,000. And remember, when he fought Carl Froch in Atlantic City, that arena wasn't empty. I mean, so Andre Ward can also sell tickets.
Oh, I totally agree. Like I said, I'm just saying my sources, what I've read, even I believe it was the local newspaper in Oakland. It was 7,200. Even Nauta actually looked it up and we exchanged, and Nauta said it was 7,200 as well. But I'm open to being corrected. You know, if he did sell tickets, that's fine. But even then, what I was discussing before was Carl Froch, Mikhail Kessler, Chad Dawson. Those are big names, and I think you have to give Golovkin a lot of credit for doing 8,500. Which, you know, at first, you know, Ness couldn't believe. He thought it was just barely 7,000, but he did 8,500 with just Daniel Gill.
Well, I'll tell you why, Wasan. I'll tell you why, because I listened to Steve Kim's show, and he was live. I wasn't. Vic was. And Steve Kim made it clear that was not a full arena at all. He said the atmosphere was good, but he said that it was a failed attempt at what they were trying to do. He also went on to say that, you know, like that it was a failed attempt at what they were expecting, but it wasn't an overall, you know, not success, because he did have 7,000 plus. I didn't hear 8,500 at all.
Yeah, those were the official numbers. But I think what got you confused was what they were counting before the fight. What they were counting before the fight was, I heard that too, it was 7,000. But when it was all said and done, when they counted the tickets and the seats and everything, it was 85, 32 or something like that.
Yeah, but don't forget that there's like 1,000 tickets given away on promoters alone. Like, I mean, the point is 8,500, Ward's 10,000 or 7,200. It's all in the same boat, and it falls on resume. And Ward's resume is better. And that's why he gets the bigger money. Is resume even taken into account when doing negotiations? I mean, that's something like pound for pound rankings. I don't think that they're necessarily. No, Wasan, that's not true. Because as you beat people, your purse gets increased. Remember, when Leo Santa Cruz started, he was getting like 30,000. Now he's getting 500. Granted, that's because of Al Heyman, but it's also because he's moved up in competition. Look at Rigondeaux. When Rigondeaux fought Nonito Donaire, he made 750,000. Or when he fought, it might be 750 for Donaire and 500 for Abeco, or vice versa. But the point is, these people get money as they fight bigger names. You can't expect Triple G to fight Ward, who already owns the division, and for him to be a 50-50 purse split. Well, no, when you put it into perspective, like when you're talking about purse minimums, that's different, okay? Like a purse minimum can be very high even if you haven't fought anybody, you know. But we don't even know what at least from Abel Sanchez's mouth, he said Triple G has raked in $1 million before, so we don't know what his minimum is for a fight. I know he probably made some concessions for Daniel Gill because it was very
very hard to rent MSG, and the HBO budget I think was $1.5 million, where it was like $3 million for Andre Ward and Edwin Rodriguez. But like I said, I just want to get to today's topics. Can I please?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you. All right, and in terms of Algieri Pacquiao, I completely wholeheartly agree with you guys. I think Algieri will win this fight. Barred any robbery in China. I just believe he's his best. I guess his most powerful tool heading into this fight is his range of offense. Okay, I noticed this also in the first Eric Morales fight. Eric Morales threw punches in a lot of variations, and he was confusing Pacquiao. Pacquiao, he still has remnants of that. He's very predictable at times, the way he comes in, and Morales is able to time him throwing double left hooks to the body, uppercuts to the body, and then going upstairs. And Algieri, he does the same thing, but from I guess a further distance. And I think that's gonna, and he knows how to use his legs pretty much like nobody at 147. He takes these long strides that are very, very calculated. And I like that about him. I think, and you're right. You don't have to hurt somebody to actually win a fight.
Exactly.
Any punch coming to anybody's face is going to keep you from coming in. Nobody truly ever walks through anything unless he cuts off the ring eventually. But a jab, a well-timed jab at any part of the ring will stop a person from coming. And then if you keep moving consistently and in doing that with the type of conditioning that Algieri has, I think he can keep that up for 12 rounds, and it wouldn't be too hard for him. And as far as Provodnikov, yeah, that was a clear victory. I had it 9-3, just like the last caller. 2 knockdowns in the first round. In terms of actual rounds that he won, 9-3 clearly in my book.
Me too.
If you take those knockdowns away, which you really can't, but if you did, he won the fight going away. And you know what?
With one eye, really.
Yeah, and then people will say, you know what? They mention punching power so much, but these guys are world-class fighters. If they hit you enough times, or they hit their opponent enough times, I should say, and this, over and over again in the same areas, it's going to have an effect. Provodnikov's face was kind of busting up a little bit there. You saw the effects of Algieri's punches on his face. I mean, he was landing a lot of shots, and they were causing damage. It's not like this guy's going to slap box you when he's in there. He's throwing punches. He's intending on hurting you. And a jab is a very underrated punch. I mean, it could carve up somebody's face really quick.
Well, I want to switch topics just a little bit. Wasan, I don't know if you want to touch on this before you go, but Scott Quigg is going to be facing Stefan Jamyoy. I don't even fucking know who this dude is, but I know that we have many
Stefan Yamore.
Yeah, I never heard him, but I know we have many UK listeners, so I at least want to touch on their guy. Junior featherweight title holder Scott Quigg got a new opponent Tuesday for his 4th title defense versus Stefan Jamore. Quigg was due to defend his 122-pound belt against former bantamweight title holder Paulus Mbunda on September 13th at the 4FU Arena in Manchester, England.
Phones for you arena?
Yeah. Oh, Phones for you arena. Okay. My bad. But Mbunda suffered a hamstring injury during his training camp and withdrew last week. So Matchroom Boxing, Quigg's promoter, announced that Jamore, 26-5, 16 knockouts, the former European bantamweight champion, has agreed to step in. So basically he's getting a tune-up on short notice. And, UK, your guy is still fighting nobodies. But I like Quigg. I really do. I like the way that he fights. He looks like a little midget strong man, too. Like, if he was bigger, he would be have a bigger body, of course. Like, he just looks like a small, big guy. I like Quigg. He has good movement, good boxing ability. I just want to see these guys fight each other at this point, Santa Cruz should be fighting him or Frampton or Martinez and not the 91st person ranked in his division, which I continue to say that you guys haven't given him any shit the way you gave Garcia. Just saying. Wasan, so what else you got for us, brother?
Oh, well, no, that was pretty much it. I don't know too much about Scott Quigg or his opponent. But,
because he's not from Kazakhstan or Russia, huh? Such bias.
No, no, I really do. I have I don't know what you call it, but it's an affinity for boxers who are able to translate, like the point you made earlier about Adrian Broner. He had a good amateur record, but he wasn't able to translate that amateur background like a Lomachenko, like a Kovalev, like a Rigondeaux into the actual pros. You know, he kind of stopped developing. So
absolutely,
that was my issue.
Well, all right, brother. Let me get to some other callers here. 623. You're live on the Boxing Voice. Who's this?
Hey, Ness. My name is Alden. I'm a first-time caller.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We got something for you, man. I've been waiting for a first-time caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
You're making your pro debut to the big league now, baby. You're on the big stage now.
I appreciate it. I listen to the show all the time. I love the show. The reason why I love it is because you guys always go against the grain on a lot of fights, pick fighters that are not the popular fight, so I respect that. First, real quick, regarding the All Access reviews, hey, I know it's asking too much, but I know you guys are working. If you have the time to do it, go for it because I love the show. Also, last night's fight, Jalen Love, you know what? I mean, I think a lot of the TMT fighters are hyped up because they're in the Mayweather gym. But also, like, I've noticed something. You know, they keep doing the shoulder roll thing and kind of with that stance. I mean, I think you got to be taught that when you're young. You can't just go into the Mayweather gym, be 15, 16 years old, come from another gym and then try doing it. It just doesn't work. Ask Berto, ask Broner. So I think all that stuff.
Well, I will say this. To Mickey Bay's credit, if you've ever seen him doing the shoulder roll, he has been trained by Floyd Mayweather Sr. his entire career. So that's the only guy I at least give a pass because he's learning from the creator.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and that is a good point. But still, like, it's not the same when it's like from Mayweather from birth. He's getting that because Mayweather, that style and his movement is just in his blood. It's hard to teach someone that and make that a habit. But to go forward, also coming up with I think you guys brought up the Ariza thing. I think that's just Floyd doing is trying to just getting the mind games of Maidana. And also one of the things every time I talk to someone about the Maidana Mayweather fight, everyone always talk. And I was there. I was at the fight on September, and I had to fight 8-4. And if you really were Maidana happy, you could have done maybe 7-5. But everyone keeps saying, what Mayweather's going to do. Maidana put up a decent fight, and he missed all the shots. So what makes you think if he fights again this time, that he might not land one, or he might not land a couple significant punches? I mean, it's like in the street, man. If you get in a fight with one guy and he missed all the punches and you got off, doesn't mean next time you fight him he won't get off this time. It's just it's chances. Boxing, a lot of it is just taking chances. And I think don't underestimate Maidana. I think the only thing Floyd's going to do is from rounds 1-4. I think Floyd will win the fight, but I think from round 1-4, Floyd would just be more active, kind of like the Canelo fight, pushing the center of the ring, try to box and try not to let Maidana get those first few rounds, so he can kind of and then just go to typical Mayweather and cruise. So I think that's what's going to ultimately happen.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I kind of think that maybe the first fight, it's going to play out the same way, but not because of Maidana, because maybe Floyd is taking a page out of Ali's book, kind of doing a rope-a-dope, letting Maidana overexert himself, get tired, and then take over the fight nice and smoothly like he did the last time. Maybe that's always been the game plan, to let him get tired. B, what do you think? I mean, you always tend to look into, the fighter's game plans and the technical side of things.
Well, I've always said this about Maidana, and I said this back when he fought Victor Caio, that he's really, really not a bad boxer. A lot of people look at him as a crude slugger, but he's very creative with his offense. Some of the shots he throws, they look like they're coming from left field, but watch how he sets some of them up too. He'll throw a shoulder feint in there. He'll throw an off-speed type jab, switch up the rhythms of his jabs, switch up the rhythms of his punches overall. My big thing, and I agree with you, he showed me something in the first fight, and that was off of a camp that was not really a full training camp. That was a fractured training camp. He wasn't really 100% committed. Now he's been training for, I believe, 8 weeks, and this is going to be an 8-week camp as opposed to like the last fight was like a 5-week camp. Had a lot of distractions. So with all that being said, this could be another tight fight. I mean, it's hard to not favor Mayweather, but I don't think this is going to be a blowout like I thought the first fight was going to be. Because, again, Maidana has some intangibles that people just tend to overlook. As I mentioned, the setting up the punches and throwing them off speed, throwing some feints and stuff in there. But not only that, Maidana has very quick foot speed, and I think people overlook that. When he fought Khan, he was able to get close to Khan and make Khan feel uncomfortable because of his foot speed. Doesn't have the fastest hands in the world, but he gets up in your grill real quick, and I think a lot of people underestimate his foot speed, and it's just really hard to deal with that sometimes when he's coming at you. He's a quick guy on his feet, no question about it. When you watch this fight, this rematch, try to analyze that and pick up on. Watch how quick he'll throw a punch and slide in behind it. He gets there very quickly.
Well, caller,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ness.
No, go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I think one of the things at the fault, I think were not Maidana's, I think they were Robert Garcia's fault. I paid attention to the rounds. From round 1 to round 5, Mayweather threw the body shot that he always does about 4 or 5 times each round. See, after the second round, Robert Garcia, you got to pick up on that. He's doing that. You got to let Maidana know when he goes for that, either you pivot your right foot and throw a straight right really quick. If you can, Floyd's already kind of low when he throws that low to the body. You could maybe get him stumbled, maybe get a knockdown, because that's exactly how Zab Judah got him when he had that flash knockdown. And also there's certain things, like I think they're working on, is that he's got to create the distance when he's on the rope. Instead of being square at him going out, because when you're square, you have no distance. All Floyd has to do is duck or hold. If you can kind of pivot his right foot, it takes away from the counter right of Floyd, and Maidana got to kind of sneak in that left uppercut. If he can sneak that in, I think, if he would have had the conditioning and made just small adjustments during the fight and had the conditioning, I mean, that would have been a much closer fight than what it was. So I think if Maidana can kind of smarten up, Robert Garcia can make adjustments during rounds instead of just saying, just keep doing the same thing, it'll be a harder fight. But again, and to the caller from Detroit, who I know you guys get on for the Golovkin, I agree with you guys. I think Andre Ward, if he were to fight Golovkin, Andre Ward is the bigger name. And 60-40 would be a good split. I mean, Golovkin's a great fighter, but the thing is, nobody knows him. Why? Because he barely speaks English. I mean, that's one of the things. If you can't, no one knows you. So I mean, I think Andre Ward deserves to be on the A side. I like Golovkin, but I think Golovkin, if you could box and move and you have speed, you're a good counterpuncher. I mean, you could outbox him and win a decision. I don't know if you can knock him down, but I think you could outbox and win a decision. And also, and then last but not least, and all praise to B-Hop for taking the Sergey Kovalev fight. I mean, you got to respect that guy. When you got other fighters avoiding each other, don't want to fight each other, Bernard decides, I want to fight Sergey. I mean, how can you not respect that and love that? And he stays active for his age. I mean, look at these fighters nowadays. All these fighters talk about, I'm a pay-per-view star, I'm this kind of star. Listen, Floyd Mayweather is the best fighter in our time, and he fights twice a year. Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia are fighting 2 times a year. There's a reason nobody knows them. These guys got to be active to get casual fans. You got to fight 3, 4 times a year. Look at Golovkin. Golovkin would have fought 4 times a year if his father didn't pass away. These fighters got to be more active, got to be willing to fight each other to not only help themselves, but help boxing. That's all I got to say, Ness. Love the show. I listen to it every week. God bless. Keep doing what you're doing. And I love the interview you did with Virgil Hunter. Keep digging in these guys' ass. Don't let them get easy. Don't let them get off easy. Keep giving them the hard questions, the questions we all want to hear, and keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you, brother, man. We appreciate that you appreciate what we're doing over here. We're average Joes, and we're working our way into the sport to get answers for you guys. 818, you're live. Who's this?
What's up, guys? This is AD.
What's going on, AD?
So just, regarding the Mayweather-Maidana fight, I think a lot of people miss this one little simple fact from the first fight. Maidana didn't land clean punches on Mayweather. He grazed him on top of the forehead. He was throwing a bunch of punches. He had Mayweather against the ropes. But the reason why I think Maidana almost has no chance in this fight is because the lack of clean punches that were landed on Mayweather. If you actually look clearly in the fight, the punches that Maidana was throwing, on the hips and, landing on the elbows, but the ones on top of the head weren't right in Mayweather's face. They were on top of his forehead. So punches like that, they're not really going to do too much damage. And it doesn't, and I don't care how hard anybody trains, you're not going to go 12 rounds like Maidana did the first 3 rounds. So, yeah, he's going to get tired. And I just think that Mayweather is going to be a little bit more defensive-minded this fight because, you know, Maidana came out really strong the first 2 rounds. So, if anything, I mean, I don't see what is Maidana going to do different that he did the first fight. You know, he's going to basically, I mean, if he's going to try to box Mayweather on the outside, he has no chance there to box him on the outside. So, if anything, I just see him trying to do the same thing that he did the first fight, but trying to do it more rounds.
Well, caller, thanks for calling in. I will rebuttal and tell you that in the All Access, which is a reason that I want to do that special review show per episode, and, you know, don't think that it's going to revolve around just the gossip side of what Floyd Mayweather is showing us with all the women, but we can take out of that the training, the instruction that Garcia was giving Maidana to straighten up the punches, to create distance. This time around, we have to hope and believe that the changes that needed to be made in the first fight are going to be made in this fight, and that's why they're working on them. I want to get to these last couple of callers because we're going to get out of here early. We know it's a Labor Day tomorrow, and you guys probably are going away, but you get to take this podcast with you on your road trips or your airplanes. Make sure you download the Boxing Voice app. Take us with you on the go. We've been pumping out 23 articles, guys. As you can check our YouTube channel, this is not opinionated articles. We're going out there. We're leaving no stone unturned. We're making a name for ourselves, and it's all, you know, thanks and credit to the many listeners that we have and the, you know, the thousands of people that visit our website. We continue to thank you for going to theboxingvoice.com and definitely downloading the app so you could take us anywhere. So yeah, Beeb, I'm sure you agree with that. Before I get to these last 2 callers, remember 646-478-3068 if we want to squeeze in more than these last 2. But we seen instruction, Beeb. We seen them working on, instead of throwing those over looping shots. And one key thing that I want to mention before you take over, Maidana himself said, you know, it's hard to change, but I'm willing to change, basically, is what he said. Like, you know, he wants to get better and he wants to make the adjustments. And again, I just feel that after testing the water, you're going in there with a level of confidence that you just can't be stopping. He doesn't have to worry about Floyd knocking him out. Let's be honest. He's not knocking Maidana out, man.
Well, this is the thing. Obviously, those overhand caveman type punches, if you will, they're not going to go away. And they don't really have to go away. But the thing is, I think Robert Garcia was trying to instill in Maidana is variation. You know, you can still throw those punches, but keep the guy a little bit off balance, make him guess a little bit, throw every now and then a straight one down the pike, and then make him move his hands around. Then you can come over the top of one of those looping shots, because I disagree with what the other caller said. Some of those looping right hands were landing on the top of Floyd's head near the temple area, and a couple times he was knocked back by a few of them. So I don't think Maidana was as ineffective as that caller said. But, you know, with all that being said, again, I don't think he's going to fight Floyd necessarily on the outside, but he could get in the mid-range area. I mean, Maidana is very effective in the mid-range area. He doesn't have to fight him at a distance where Floyd has that speed advantage. So I don't think the whole style, the whole approach is going to be revamped 360 style, but there are little things that could be done to keep Floyd guessing and not allow him to read Maidana as easily as he did in the second half of that first fight. So I think you made some great points about talking about that, because there's more to this than just the Bugattis and the Bentleys and all this and that. From watching the whole series yesterday, I took away that I enjoyed the Maidana section, or portion I should say, a lot more than I did the Mayweather one, because the Mayweather one was pretty much the same as it always has been. You know, the talking about the women, bragging and all this and that. You know, to me, I think Mayweather's getting kind of stale. But I like watching these all accesses for the opponents. I think the opponents, because Maidana's not really been on there an awful lot. This is his second time being on there. And, you know, the first time he showed you a story with his wife being pregnant and this and that. This time you got to see him with his kids a little bit more. His kids are going back to school. And then you you were allowed to see the training aspect of what was going on in Maidana's life and in the camp, which made with Mayweather, you're not seeing training stuff anymore. All you're seeing basically is the partying and the jet setting and all this and that. So in terms of enjoyment factor, entertainment value, I liked it because of Maidana, not so much because of Mayweather. But I think the training is going to kind of reveal what we're going to see in the fight. I believe that Garcia is going to have an impact on Maidana, and I think Maidana could possibly do better in this rematch. I don't think that it's going to be a rout for Mayweather like people are saying.
Well, we've been getting a lot of feedback on the Tuesday show that we're working on, planning to bring you guys more boxing talk, and some funny responses, man. Thank you to everybody. I just want to say this because he makes a lot of fucking sense here. I don't know if he said this as a joke, but Charles Hicks, one of our Facebook friends, said, your first show, the topic should be why there is no black ring card girls. Corona and Tecate are racist with their fear of black on the planet. But I laugh because I think I've only seen one black ring card girl. I remember her for the Pacquiao Brandon Reels, but she's a very light-skinned, pretty black girl, and that might be the reason because she was light-skinned. But that is funny that he would even say that. 931, you're live. Who's this?
Hey, yo, this is Rodney T.
Rodney P, what up, brother?
Yeah, man, I'm calling out of Clarksville, Tennessee, man. I work construction every week, man, 6 days a week. And every Sunday, man, I make sure I watch the Boston Boys.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate it, man. We know, this is a show from guys just like you, man. And I love it that everyone is calling in and telling us what they do and relating to us and the hard work that we put in. And appreciating that, man. We do it for you guys. Without this audience that you guys give us, we'd be nobody, man. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, for sure, man. I want to talk about that Pacquiao and Algieri fight, though, man.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think Pac-Man gonna destroy that nigga, man. I just think, man. Where's the fight at? 140 or 147?
It's going to be a catch weight. I believe it's 144, but just do a Google search to be sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. I know Provodnikov, man. He didn't really know that Algieri was a good boxer like that. But I think Pac-Man gonna destroy him, man, because he got more experience than him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, but listen, Buster Douglas didn't have more experience than Tyson. I mean, this guy that knocked out J. Leon Love didn't have more experience or talent. And stranger things have happened. We can't just bank it on the obvious. It's never always black and white. I wish it was that simple. I'd be riding high on my little soundbite of Nostradamus because, Broner would have beat Maidana, but he didn't. Upsets happen, and that's the beauty of this sport,
Yeah. I mean,
see,
but
everybody always brings up the opposite when they're saying, oh, our sport isn't like basketball and isn't like football and hockey. The best always face the best and yada, yada, yada. But that's the point of this sport. A guy like Rod Salka has the opportunity to do what a team that went, I don't watch any of those sports, so this is just going to be a fucking number to fill in the blanks. 0-14 this season, they're not going to get to win the championship. There is no luck of the draw. There is no sun shining on the dog's ass. There is no two sides to the coin. It's just if you're good enough, you get to the top. But in this sport, unfortunately, I guess in some people's eyes, the underdog is always a live dog until the bell has ended.
Yeah, I feel you, man, but I just don't see, like, Algieri don't have the power. He got the height and range and all that, but Pacquiao, he's a veteran. I'm a Mayweather fan all the way, but, like, people comparing Algieri, like, they saying if Algieri beats Pacquiao or Mayweather, he never had a chance against Mayweather. I don't even compare Algieri to Mayweather, so I think that Pacquiao
is going to get a devastating knockout against Algieri, and then after that, you know, because he's with Top Rank, he don't really have nobody to fight, but I think Mayweather is going to beat Maidana pretty easily in 2 weeks, but I don't know, man. Like, he got to face Keith Thurman, you know, the boy Andrade, whatever his name is. He got to face him. You know, he's up in the upcoming, and Mayweather just has more opponents, but Top Rank don't have nobody to offer unless, you know, I've been hearing rumors about Canelo come back to Top Rank, but, you know, Pac-Man, he just don't have nobody to face and prove his talent, but at the same time, you know, he's just getting a break at the same time. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, you know, that fight's not till, I believe, November 22nd, but I do want to say thank you for calling in. I believe this might have been your first time calling in, and if not, you know, we respect you just as much for being a reoccurring caller. I mean, there's not much we can say. We don't see eye to eye. Everybody's going to go for the favorite in Pacquiao. He's the superstar, but just sometimes there's little things, and those little things could become mitigating factors in that fight. 954, you're live. Who's this?
Hey, this is D from Miami, Florida.
D, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing, sir? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, brother. This your first time calling in?
I'm sorry?
Is this your first time calling in?
How'd you know?
Because I never heard of a D from Miami, Florida, and I'm pretty familiar with our listeners here. But, you know, we got a new little tradition going on whenever we get a first-time caller. So, you know, pat yourself on your back. Here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut,
D from Miami made his professional debut on the Boxing Voice. So, D, talk to us, man. Anything boxing goes.
Yes. Okay. I want to ask you a question. Well, it's a two-part question. What do you think about the TMT brand in terms of the stable of boxers they are getting? Because a lot of them seem like they're not really up to par. You know, with Javon got crushed last night. And besides Mayweather, who else is on their stable of fighters that will be who can take it over once he retires? Secondly, what are your opinion about Roc Nation in terms of Jay is getting into the sport of boxing, and he's bringing on some heavy hitters in terms of the management side of it. Obviously, he won't be managing, but the management side of it, you know, the guy from Golden Boy and Top Rank as well. So I want to get your thoughts on those two different questions.
All right, brother. Well, I'll get to them right now. So first things first is the first one about the TMT fighters. Well, we talked a lot about that in depth in the beginning of the show, so I'll paraphrase my whole you know, conversation earlier with saying that I agree with you. I don't see anyone taking over. Mickey Bay is probably the most talented so far. No one's you know, jumping up and down to watch Issei Smith. Badu Jack looked very good last night, but he looked good versus Jason Escalera, which I picked to beat Badu Jack. So again, I think that he looks very good, not only because I picked Escalera. I knew that Escalera was limited, but I knew that Escalera brought the power, and he wasn't going to stop coming forward. And Badu Jack turned a lot, turned Escalera a lot, jabbed a lot, countered a lot, worked up and down. He looked really good last night, so we got to see him step it up. So Mickey Bay, Badu Jack, and I like Louis Cuba Aries, but we haven't been seeing him on the show, I mean on TV lately. But his first couple of fights, they were great. He stepped up his level of competition tremendously, taking on Donnell Livingston when he had like 11 fights only. He fought Donnell Livingston, so that was a good step up. Give me 1 second to cough, and I'll answer the second part, which is the Roc Nation thing, which is something that, you know, as a first-time caller, I want to thank you for bringing it up and allowing me to get to this part of the show, because I had it already set up to talk to you guys about. I got a couple of quotes from Itzkowskiewicz, which is the VP that used to work for Golden Boy on the East Coast, now is, you know, running things over there on Roc Nation Sports. And I quote, I think it delivered the message that we're here, we're serious, we mean business, we're here to make an impact on the sport, and we're here to make it an immediate impact. This was his response, of course, when asked about their insertion into boxing and their purse bid and how big that purse bid was. Itzkowskiewicz was who formerly worked with Golden Boy and Lou DiBella, didn't waste any time discussing Roc Nation sports from everyone else. Distinguishing Roc Nation sports from anyone else. We're not looking to become Golden Boy. We're not looking to become Top Rank and have 70, 80 fighters under contract. That's not the goal. We're following the model of Roc Nation Sports, the model that Roc Nation Sports has used, which is signing fighters and not necessarily 30, 40, or 50 of them. The objective is to turn boxers into celebrities through the company's vast marketing arm while running a conventional promotional company. We want to brand and promote and publicize our fighters all year long, Itzkowskiewicz went on. No other promoter really does that. They promote their fighter when they fight, and then that's it. We're in the process of talking to several boxers, he said, while declining to provide names, but we can say that they made a large offer to Rigondeaux, and there were some problems with Rigondeaux's co-promoter, Caribe Promotions from Miami. So I don't know if that's still on the table or off. I think this is Jersey 7. Then I got James Grills. 201, who's this?
Hey, what's up? You guys hear me?
Sev, what it do, brother? I just told everybody earlier that we're gonna be making that 10-hour road trip to Cincinnati, man. But what's up, brother? What's on your mind? I'm sure that you watched Showbox last night.
Oh yeah, about that trip, damn right, man. I'm so fucking excited. I never thought I'd be so excited to go to Ohio ever in my life. But crazy shit happens in life, man. But yeah, I did watch the Showbox. I don't always watch every Showbox, but I did watch it last night. And in my opinion, obviously, it wasn't the best card, but I thought the Romanian guy who fought first, Gavril or whatever his name was, his mind works too slow, and that's not something that you can ever change. So he ain't never gonna be shit. And then the second fight, Badu Jack against Escalera. I thought Badu Jack looked really good, just like yourself. I liked the way he fought. He fought a very smart fight. He has to fight every single fight like that. He was defensively really responsible, and he was pumping out that jab really nice. He has a lot of good attributes such as hand speed, size, a good jab, athleticism. And in my opinion, I think he's the best fighter that is on that Mayweather stable. Now, obviously, I'm not saying he's ever going to be a world beater because he always has that chin problem. And that's also another thing that you can't fix or train. So he's just always going to be have to be that kind of fighter, that defensively first kind of fighter, and he may get knocked out in devastating fashion again later on in his career. But he's definitely, I would say, the best guy that Mayweather has in his stable, and he has some very good attributes. And I would love to see him again. As far as Jalen Love, I think that was the best thing for boxing to happen, for his ass to get knocked out, because they've been trying to shove this asshole down our throats for, about 3 years now, and he ain't shit. He never was shit, and he'll never be shit. He aside from the chin factor, he's got a bunch of other fucking problems. He doesn't have any fucking single good attribute that I could point out. But I could sure as hell point out a lot of shit that he don't have, And for one is he had problems making 160, but it seems like he can't even make 168 because to me, he looked weight drained. Even his cheekbones were sticking out and shit. Even on the night of the fight when he walked in the ring, I mean, I don't know. But aside from that, even if he could make weight comfortably, like that guy has nothing going for him. You know, that's the bottom line. And I'm really excited about Ohio. I think it's a good card. You know, I always bitch about the cards if they're not good. I think this is a good one. I was disappointed at first with Lucas Matisse fighting someone that I don't know or haven't heard of, but I watched a few of Roberto Ortiz's fights on YouTube, and I'm going to like that fight. I think it's going to be exciting for however long it lasts. I actually just finished writing an article on it. It should be posted up soon. And, you know, that's all I got for today, man.
All right, Seb. Well, thanks for calling in. And let's get to some other callers here. I thought we were going to get out of here at 9:30, but I knew you guys wouldn't let me do that.
Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
And that's all, mate.
What's going on, brother? Hey, man, I got to give you credit. I don't know, because I got horrible short-term memory, but I don't know if I've congratulated you or not. But Gerald Fletcher, man, he dropped our guy twice, man. Can't believe that.
Hey?
Gerald Fletcher, he dropped Trout twice, and, you know, he's from Australia.
Dawson.
Oh,
Daniel Dawson.
Okay, I messed up the name. Fletcher was the one with Daniel Jacobs. Problem is everybody's playing Australians now, man.
Yeah, too many of them losing. At least they're out there having a go.
Yeah, man. So what's up, brother? What's on your mind?
Mate, I've been a little bit out of the loop. It's kind of too much to say, but I've been sick. I've been in hospital and had a few surgeries. But I noticed a photo of, just while you're talking about promotional things with Rock Sports and that, and a possible Rigo change over there. I noticed a photo of Rigo with 50 Cent that he posted on his Twitter or something a while ago. Please tell me there hasn't been any talk of that happening.
No. That was just 50 posting up.
Oh, thank fuck. Yeah, that'd be disastrous. Has there been any talk of? I noticed Gamboa after he lost to Crawford, he posted, "I just want to fight," and it kind of looked like he was looking to get out of that mess he's in with SMS. Do you know how long is left in his contract, or where he's contractually at with 50 Cent?
Nothing, man. Those dudes are like the Secret Service. Listen, I got Gamboa's cell. I got his lawyer's number. I got his co-manager number, and you would think I could get them on the phone. It's impossible, man. Whatever, man. You know, things happen to guys for a certain reason, dude. I mean, I wish that Gamboa had a different route. I was really high on him in the beginning of his career, and probably all the way up until the Salido fight, the time that he just, got so inactive. And that's why I talk the way I talk about Ward, because if you're not fighting, I don't care. I mean, I'm a boxing fan. I'm not a fighter fan, so I need to see you fight to like you. And if you ain't fighting, I can't deal with you because you're not fighting.
Yeah, it'd just be interesting. I wonder if Rock Sports are talking to him. It did seem like a bit of a cry out, like he was looking for somewhere else to go when he put that thing up saying, "I just want to fight." So I don't know. Also, with Algieri, I know a few people have been talking about the Algieri and Pacquiao thing, and they keep on saying, like, he doesn't hit that hard or whatever. I don't know. He's not a huge puncher, but I mean, what people aren't mentioning is that, like, he commits to his punches. When he lets his combinations off and stuff, and, like, he might not be a huge puncher, but he's not a pitter-patter puncher or anything. Like he really commits to his shots, and he puts nice combinations together with, like, a huge range of punches that are all really effective. And with his size difference, fighting a short guy like Pacquiao, like, that uppercut's going to be there for him, I think. And he's got a nice uppercut, and, like, the way he moves, I don't know. I don't know how people are sleeping on Algieri. Like, just because he's not a big name, I think, like, fuck, even if you don't think he's going to win, I don't see how people can't see that he's going to give troubles. Like, Pacquiao is so much smaller, and he's fought bigger guys before, but not guys who are going to be able to use their size and really capitalize on the size advantage and create distance and move like that. Like was brought up earlier, when the fuck was the last time Pacquiao knocked anyone out? Like, he's not that explosive guy anymore. I think that explosive style that he used to have may have been more effective, but at the moment, like, Provodnikov's thudding type punches, I think, are going to hurt people more than the punches Pacquiao throws now. I don't know. I don't know why people are sleeping on him so much and raising and talking about him like he's got absolutely no power. Like, he doesn't do little flurry punches like Gary Russell Jr. or anything like that. Like, he commits to his shots and throws proper punches. He has good footwork, and he's a lot bigger. So I don't understand how people are not liking that matchup.
It just boils down to the name recognition, Jim. But let me get to our last call, man, because I got to get out of here. I got a lasagna my wife made, and she's waiting for me to get down to the first floor to eat before she eats. So sorry, guys. When you got a hot wife, you got to listen. 831, you're live. Who's this?
Yo, fellow, something to do.
Hey, dude, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Been on the phone, but, hey, I apologize for my voice. I lost my voice during work last night. But then again, I don't want to say what I do for work because I'm working for the competition. I'm afraid if I say it, you guys won't allow me to come back.
What? MMA?
No, it's because my job is actually setting up the MMA cages for the MMA fights right here in Cali.
Oh, no, that's
I'm a big boxing fan, but I'm stuck with this job. That's what I do for a living.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. You only make in the ring. You ain't part of the fight.
Yeah, I'm not part of the fight. I just set up the rings. I also set up the boxing rings as well for the amateur event stuff. But it was a good show last night. I mean, I'm not an MMA fight. I don't know nothing really about the MMA, but I'm a big boxing fan. I missed the fights last night, but I caught them this morning. And you know what, with Jay and Love, man, I'm not going to cap on that dude because I like what I saw in the beginning of the fight. That he was sticking and moving. But then, he was being a little bit low on his productivity. He wasn't shooting a lot, but he was doing good. He was moving. But here's the thing, what Rogelio did that made him win the fight. Homeboy started going to the body early in the fight, and he was taking advantage when Jay Leon was in the ropes, because every time Love was in the ropes, Homeboy was attacking the body. Now in the third round, if you look at the fight, the punch before the knockout, it looked like Rogelio was going to go for the body. He set him up. It set him up, and he actually threw an uppercut that landed flush, man, and it rattled Jay Leon, and that's what set him up for that left hook. You know what I mean? So it was more of a, but now, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna cap on him. He got caught. He got rocked. You know what I mean? Anything can happen in boxing. That's the way it goes. But I got a question for you guys, man. What do you guys think about George Groves, man? You think this guy reached his peak? Because he's fighting Christopher Rabrizzi. He's like a Salka kind of man, you know what I mean? So you think George Groves is out of the picture now, or does he still have a chance?
No, this is the thing, man. When you're not a big name, you're allowed to fight those type of guys, and no one make a big deal. He's getting a tune-up fight, but remember, he's also trying. I think this fight is going to be ranking him in a WBC or something. He's trying to go for another title shot.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, if he's going to be fighting this level of opposition at the point that he is now, where he lost against Froch big time, because he got knocked, you know what I mean? Got knocked out. You know what I mean? So for him to fight this kind of opposition, it kind of sets him back. It kind of does what it did to Danny. It hurt him more by fighting this level of opposition rather than going and challenging somebody who's at least credible. You know what I mean? And saying, look, man, almost just, you know what I mean? But hey, what about Juan Diaz, Baby Bull? You think he's back? I mean, he's only 30 years old. He was a big name before. He fought wars with Paulie when Paulie was at his prime. He fought wars with Juan Manuel Marquez. I mean, he's only 30 years old. He's back. He's been fighting back-to-back fights, but he's fighting a tough guy. He's from South America. I believe he's from Venezuela or Colombia. I can't remember where he's from. Carlos Cardenas. He's a good fighter. I think he has like a 50% knockout ratio. So, I mean, do you think if Juan Diaz beats this guy, do you think he could get a good fight, maybe against like a Porter or somebody, in a credible race? He's going to be a contender for maybe another title shot. Do you think that could be possible for homeboy like Baby Bull?
I don't know, man. Baby Bull needs to fight someone credible before we could say he's back. I mean, he's been fighting tune-ups, things to get him back into the sport.
90 seconds.
Hey, dude, let me let you go. I gotta do our chat room roll call before we're not live anymore. We're going to start off at the top. Oh, Adolf Mayweather's not here today. I don't like that shit. Ari Gold, B Rich, Cedric Sports, Charlie Wong, Kute, Dave the Sinister, Die Hard Casual Fan, El Dude Boxing Commentaries, Gabriel Marrero 15, a bunch of guests. Come on, guys, you gotta make
60 seconds.
You gotta make accounts and follow us on Blog Talk because we're gonna be doing spontaneous shows more often, and the only way to find out is to receive the email that Blog Talk sends out whenever I schedule a show and go live on a show. So remember to follow us on Blog Talk. Head on over to www.blogtalkradio.com/The Boxing Voice Radio, excuse me. www.blogtalkradio.com/The Boxing Voice Radio. Jay Rosales, happy to see Jay Rosales in the chat. Letting Gifted Hands Go. I love that fucking screen name. Mark from London. Nota. Or Noalta, however the hell you guys want me to pronounce it. Nothing for Something. Panama Said. Ringleader X Dank.
10 seconds.
Special KXY Yank KX Slayer R. Whoever that is. And B, we don't have the chat on the site anymore, right? So we can't do that one.
Oh, we do. We have it on the mobile site and we have it on the app. It's just for reasons with Google, we can't have it on the regular site.
You want to give them a shout out, whoever's in the app right now?
Absolutely. Let me go on and let's see what I can do here.
Get out of here.
Sure thing. Okay.
So in the
Hollywood Phil we have in there. We have Justin Sider. We got Mike Hunt. We got Gabe Asher. We got Lou Cecile. We got Tasha in there. Who else? Got Nature King. And I think that's about it.
Well, all right. We'll leave you with this, as always. And listen, remember, we're an army. You guys are part of that.
Oh, we got Gabe at the house, too. Gabe at the house just jumped in the chat. I'm sorry.
No
you got it, baby.
If you guys have any talent, email us. theboxingvoice@yahoo.com. That's THE, though. E like Edward. We're looking for writers. We need more people to expand this. We're trying to take over. Listen, mainstream media is selling you a lie. We're giving you the truth. You know it. We know it. Join the army and help us get to the finish line. Hey guys, I just want to send a special thank you to all of you guys that are listening to The Boxing Voice and downloading us on iTunes, rating us 5 stars. We would like you to continue to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter The Boxing Voice, and for anybody interested in writing for the site, you can definitely do so by shooting us an email over at THEBOXINGVOICE@yahoo.com. Address your email to Victor Salazar. He's the editor-in-chief. Send something over that he can read. If he likes what he reads, you're part of the team. And remember, leave a 5-star review. You're already part of the team. Later, guys. Till next episode.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Check out theboxingvoice.com for some of the best articles on the hottest news in today's boxing. Subscribe to youtube.com/theboxingvoice for the latest and greatest interviews with your favorite fighters. Join us every Thursday and Sunday live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thank you for using